All right. Good morning, everybody. Well, it's now week 7, right? Technically, session 7, right? Um, so by now, you should be prospecting, right? Thank you for those who are turning in their 100-day point system, right? You know who you are. So great job on that, right? Second thing is, I received your daily schedule. Some of you guys did send it. Some of you guys even sent your weekly schedule or a draft of what a week looks like in real estate for you, right? Which days you're taking off, right? Again, it's up to you if you can create this framework, right? It's all about that framework. Okay. um, Within that framework you will create habits, right? Like waking up at the same time every single day, right? I don't know how many of you guys are waking up the same time every day now, right? Or even some of you I've noticed are waking up earlier because you are in this text group that you're texting earlier, right? Maybe not directly to me and your manager, but at least to that text group, right? Which is fine, okay? Because accountability can be created with anyone, right? You can create self accountability, which some of you guys are good, right? But most of us want something outside. So that's why I said, hey, you guys are welcome to text me or your manager or us together or the specific text group, right? Starting next month, right? This mentorship group, right? We're gonna have our own separate text group, okay? Um, that's gonna be meant for just for our group because as we progress, right, our mindset's gonna be different than others, right? We are now of a similar thinking, right? To where you are going to participate as much as you can, right? Again, it's up to you though. If you participate 100%, 110%, or 50%, it's going to be up to you, right? So with prospecting, this is where we are now, right? Everyone should be prospecting daily, right? So what I want to hear from you is how come you're not prospecting on an everyday basis? Or at least how come you're not hitting your numbers on a daily basis? Some of you guys are hitting your numbers, but not on a consistent daily basis yet, right? So I need to know what's going on, right? And this is a safe group, right? Either you can share here, right? Or you can just call me directly and say, this is my challenge, right? Because again, all of us have different challenges. Right? We all have our own time, um, you know, that we have to make sure we fill in. Right? We all have 24 hours. Instead of 24 hours, look at it in a 1 week. We all have 168 hours, right? If you get 3 hours sleep today, you can tomorrow or this weekend. Okay, right? You can catch up, but you can catch up during the day, right? Naps are good, you know that, right? Yeah, afternoon naps are good, right? Just don't make it too long, right? Because it affects your sleeping patterns, right? Some of you guys have heard of your circadian rhythm, right? But for most of us, we've already created that habit that we wake up at a certain time, right? So here's my next question to you: are you guys doing daily? Remember your daily meds, right? Meditation, exercise, watching our diet, what we eat, and of course, sleep, right? Are we doing our daily meds, right? Meditation is where you center yourself, right? Where you rest your mind, right? That could be watching TV, taking a walk, going to the movies, right? Okay. I mean, how many of you guys, have just have a place or time where you just by yourself, right? You have to recharge, right? You know, I shared with you guys before. We used to have a group where we get weekly massages, right? Okay, you guys heard of Massage Envy? There's different places where you can do this package program, right? Yeah, if that's where you are, then that's what you do, right? Okay, if it's working out at the gym, that's your meditation. Great, right? You got to make sure that you're doing those meds, right? And the exercise. I want you guys to get more fit, right? Or at least um, you remember I told you guys need to have a yearly physical, right? You want to watch your cholesterol, your high blood pressure, right? Yeah, all of that can be corrected, right? But you need to know what to correct. Just like when you're turning your numbers to us, right? We can see together. Okay, today you only spoke to 5 people. You didn't do any education, You didn't do anything else. Remember the 100-point day, right? You guys all have that, right? So please review that. Okay, we'll touch on that a little bit later, just as a review, because the 100-point day is a great accountability for you specifically because you can see what you're doing. Like, when I don't exercise in the morning, I do it in the afternoon or in the evening. I use my door knocking as part of that exercise. You guys heard of that 10,000 steps, right? You know, that's up to you how you do that, right? 10,000 steps is really nothing, but a lot of people don't even do 10,000 steps, right? So what I personally do is I find exercise in different things, right? Okay. Like we live in a two-story house, right? I don't take my time walking upstairs. I just go fast, right? Safely. Get your heart rate up, right? Okay. Same thing here in Union City. We have a two-story building. I've seen people take the elevator to the second floor. I'm like, that's why we don't have a elevator in Fremont, right? No, but again, it's up to you, right? Where do you get your exercise, right? You can find it in different places. Your diet is just what we eat, right? Right? Not as we put it in our mouth, but be careful our diet, right? And of course, sleep. Sleep is very important. We have to somehow rejuvenate. Have you guys ever heard sleep is the best exercise? How many of you guys have heard of that? The reason why it's the best exercise, okay, is because that's when your body really rejuvenates. That's when your new cells are created, bad cells are killed off, right? So that's why, when you wake up, you have to go to the bathroom. Right? Those are the bad stuff, okay, that you ate from the day before, right? Okay. So sleep is a good thing. Just make sure you don't eat like half an hour before you sleep, right? They said, you shouldn't eat 3 hours. 3 hours before you sleep. It should be the last time you eat like a meal, right? Okay. Because it gives your body time to, digest. And then when you're sleeping, your body's working properly. Make sense? Right? Now it's up to you if you believe that, right? Okay. Yeah. It's up to you, how you take care of yourself, but make sure, right, that we take care of ourselves. As I said before, our health is our wealth, right? Because a lot of people work all their, young lives to earn a lot of money. And then when they're old and they have all this money, they try to buy their youth, right? Just, contrary to what I think, I believe we work hard, we spend our money as we go, saving for the future, of course, right? Because remember, we work like we will live forever, right? But we live like it's our last day, meaning time is precious, right? Right? Time with family, or at least with your loved ones, people you like, right? Spend time with people you like, right? Limit your time with people that are negative or are not helpful to you, right? Okay, that's why sometimes when me and my wife are arguing, I just say, okay, I gotta go. I go out for a walk, take a drive because it's not gonna go anywhere good, right? Okay, it's that. Okay, that's why she always says, why do you always walk away from arguments? Because I don't want to continue that argument. Make sense, right? So we have to correct that behavior, right? So that's what I call pattern interrupt, right? When it's not going the way you want, right? Some of you guys are gamblers, right? You go to a casino, right? If you're losing, 100, 200, 300,000, right? Going, take a break, right? Go for a walk. Maybe that'll change your luck, right? Or at least your thinking, right? Don't, I'm not telling you guys to go to a casino this weekend, okay? I'm just saying, sometimes when things are not going our way, we need to change what's getting us there. Okay, so I was talking to a couple agents about open houses. Like they say, I've been doing open houses and not no results are happening. But we analyze it. Are you able to get people's phone numbers? Right? Are you able to convert them into an appointment? And when you're at the appointment, are you able to get them to sign BRBC or hire you or at least continue the conversation? When you go out and see houses, are you able to write offers? Right? There's different things that we need to work on, right? Like at the open house, how's our skills in making connections, in getting people's phone numbers? How are we with regards to giving our fair trade? Like, would you like to receive the disclosure package. Oh, I already have an agent. Well, perfect. Has your do you know if your agent have access to the disclosures? You know, again, I'm not making them wrong to having an agent. I want to question their thinking, right? By me showing them that, hey, maybe does their agent, did your agent send that to you before coming to the open house, right? Because again, job as a buyer agent is sending those disclosures before I send them to an open house. Right? As a buyer agent, I know before they do when a property comes on the market. Why? Do you have a listing alert system turned on for them? On and do you check your email or your text? Do you search the MLS early in the morning? Right? Okay. Because again, as a buyer, right, they're looking at houses more often sometimes. But if they're not really that hot, right, if a buyer is not, you know, a 10 out of 10 about buying today, they don't always check the listings every day. But if you're their agent, is that part of your job? Like you check for listings every day that would fit their criteria. Because how many hot leads do we really have? 5 or 10, maybe? So you should have that opportunity to search for these properties, or at least look at the alerts that was sent to them. Right? I don't set up alerts. When we do alerts for my clients, I don't get notified. I don't BCC myself because I get too many emails. Right? But every day I check the MLS. That's one of the first things I do in the morning. Is I check the listings and I check to see what new listings came on the market and to see if that can fit any of my clients. Okay. Because remember, there are three things we need to be doing every day: market stats, looking at the MLS, right? Figure out what skills you need to develop today, right? Which includes role playing, right? And of course, prospecting, right? Those are the three key activities, right? If we're not getting better on those first two, when we talk to people, then we don't sound very informative or we don't sound very professional, right? So this is where those two agents who I spoke to this morning about open houses. Are you role playing how you connect with people? Right? Just like a comedian or actor, actors will role play their scripts. We need to do the same thing, right? So when we do an open house, it's like, do you practice how you interact? Do you practice, when someone comes in, what's the first thing to say? Yeah, you know, good morning, welcome to our open house. How did you happen to find our open house today? What brings you? We need to make sure that we make some sort of connection with people, right? Sometimes I'll say, so are you guys just curious or are you guys serious today? Right? You guys look like the next homeowner for this home? What brought you to the open house? I mean, there are many things you can say, right? So again, it's going to be up to you. There's no one book, one right script, right? You guys have a script books that we've given you guys. There's some words in there you can use during open houses. You just have to be yourself, right? Create your own dialogue, right? If not, use the ones that is in the books, okay? And if you don't know what to say, well, make sure you look at the script books, right? So you guys have the words. Now we got to work on the delivery. And what I want to help you is the conversion part. Because if you're saying the words that we're teaching you guys and you're not able to get the results, then we're missing something. It's in the delivery. Like here's the words for the joke, right? Now, can you make people laugh? They will laugh if your delivery is good. That's the tonality, rate of speech, your body language, your facial expressions, right? Again, you know, do you know how many notes are there in the music? To write music, you know how many notes? Anybody here musicians? Like how many notes are there? Anybody know? How many notes? Yeah. How many musical notes are there? Anybody got Chat GPT? Right? Well, how many musical notes there are, right?
Seven?
What makes a good, yeah, it's seven, right? It- It's seven. It's seven, right? Seven notes, right? So here's the thing. Then, people have been sued for copyright. Like, hey, your song sounds like mine. You know, there is, you can, if you just change the spaces in the between notes and also the side, the length of notes, it can sound totally different, right? Just like you guys know about the Star Spangled Banner, right? Yeah. America's national anthem, right? Some people will sing it one way, some people will sing it a different way, right? The words are the same. The notes can, yet it sounds different. Why? It's the tonality, the voice, all of those things, right? So when we're doing scripts, right, the words are one thing, the tonality, rate of speech is another, the body language is the key, right? We communicate with our face, right? Also with our voice, right? More importantly, is our body language, right? Because again, when you're standing up, do you look confident, right? Because that affects your voice. Because sometimes I catch myself not being so confident because I can hear my voice. What is it? Getting softer sometimes, right? But sometimes you need to soften your voice a little bit to communicate better, right? But pay attention to that. You got to know the words, and then you can practice the delivery. Okay. So going back to that open house, right? You're supposed to do 4 open houses, right? A month, right? 4 days, right? That's as part of this program, right? Minimum 4 days, right? Some of you guys are doing like 8 or 10, which is good. There's at least one that I know like 3 or 4 days of open houses a week, right? Now, why aren't they doing this? So the question is, how are you picking the open house? I've always said you pick the open house, don't let the open house pick you, right? Meaning, do an open house where you want to focus your energy at, right? Like I don't go to San Jose as much, so I don't focus, I don't look for open houses there, right? Remember, 5 to 10 miles of where you live or work. That's where you want to focus your energy on, right? There are open houses you can do. Now, if you can't find open houses where you live or work, right? That's close to you. Yeah, you may want to do something further to expand it. But when you go there, remember, the purpose of the open house is to generate listings outside that open house, right? Not necessarily looking for buyers. The buyers will find the open house if it's priced right, on the market, right? Or they're just driving by. That will happen. Our focus for open house has always been to find more listings for the future, right? That is our goal. We're gonna come across buyers all the time. Okay. But it's the listings is the key, guys. Okay. People don't want to sell. And once we meet them, we need to be able to have a system for follow-up, right? Since Brent has his camera on, Brent, how long have you lived at your current house?
About 35 years.
35 years, right? Before that, how long did you live in your previous house?
This was actually my first house.
It's your first house, okay? But the house that you lived in, how long did you stay at that house, at that property?
Um, 4 years maybe.
4 years, right? So you can see Brent is a serial mover, meaning he moves every couple of years, okay? More than 50% of the people move about 5 to 8 years, 5 to 10 years, okay? But there are some, you know, I know some of you guys, let's see who, okay, I don't see her, but some of you guys don't move like you've been in your place for over 20 years, okay? All right? In 5 to 8 years, we move, right? Although now we've been there 12 years in Half Moon Bay. So it's changed. Sometimes, depending on where you are in life, these things will change. Okay. Us as agents, we gotta be there when changes happen in people's lives, right? Because we don't know when it's the right time for them to buy or sell. We don't know when they're going to buy or sell. Or we don't have to be good. We just gotta be there when they're ready. The lead follow-up system comes in, right? Because if we're trying to time it, it's not gonna happen, right? We just gotta be there, right? When they say, "Oh, so you're planning to retire in 5 years?" Well, great. Have you thought about where you're going to retire? Have you thought about buying a rental property where you're going to retire? Have you thought about having your future tenant pay for your future retirement home? Right? People that have kids. Remember, one of the first things I teach my clients is to help create a college fund for their kids. I'll say, hey, Richard, congratulations on your son. Have you thought about, buying a rental property to set them up for their future? What I mean is, tuition for college is going to be expensive, right? How about we look for a rental property, for to set up their college fund? Let me show you how you can do that. Right? They may not be ready today. Rishan may call me years from now because I gave him an idea 5 years ago. Does that make sense? Now, I'm not calling him every quarter. Hey, have you done, have you worked on that college fund? No. Every so often, we were going to talk about that. Hey, you guys traveled. When you guys went to Hawaii last time, did you look at the rental properties there? What's going on? Right? Again, have you thought about where you're going to want to send your kids to college to? Right? People again, remember the Ford, right? Friends and family, occupation, recreation, and dreams. That's dreams. I'm helping Rishan talk about dreams, right? Helping him dream for his kids' college fund. Because sometimes time goes by and they don't think about those things. I want to give them some ideas, right? Okay. And if they don't have kids, it's like where do they like to vacation?
Looking
Right?
back,
Mhm.
somebody would have given me this idea.
Yeah.
I would have just taken.
Right. So Rishan says, man, I wish I met you. Again, it happens, right? We want to give people ideas, right? Okay. Remember, the purpose of buying a house today is to have a house that's paid off in 30 years, right? Okay. Don't be a serial refinancer. Okay. The goal of buying a house today, Brent, right? You bought it 4 years ago, 3, 4 years, is to have it paid off in 30 years, right? Right. That's the goal. That's the American dream. It's not, oh, so it's going to double in 10 years because we live in the Bay Area. That's not the goal. The goal is to have it paid off in 30 years, right? It's like buying a car. Hopefully, in 4 or 5 years, it's paid off, right? Unless you're a serial leaser and you're just renting, right? Again, the goal in America is to pay off debt. That's our goal, right? Is to have an asset. A 5-year-old car that's paid off is an asset. It will last 10 to 20 years, right? That's the goal. Now, you got to take care of it. Of course, there's maintenance and all that. But if you want to trade it in, like if you want to, um, real estate is the highest divorce rate, right? Right. Don't be a serial, uh,
Divorcement.
divorcee or someone that gets married, right? Often, what I don't know what would you call that, right? A serial marriager? I don't know what you would call it, but anyways, it's up to you, right? Because that can become expensive, right? Okay, uh, so just remember, our goal, right, is to meet people. So when we meet people out there, it's like, hey, so how long have you been? How long have you lived in San Carlos, Brent? Right? You ask, oh, San Carlos. You need to understand more, right? Talk about, hey, so what do you do for work? Oh, you're engineer. Oh, are you in the hardware or software, right? This is what we call leading questions, and we're going to learn this next month. Okay, when someone says something, you got to open it up to it. You got to lead them one way or the other. Software, perfect. How long have you been doing that? Oh, where'd you go to school for that? Oh, how do you like it? Have you ever bought hardware? We talk about them because they can talk about themselves. Why do we ask about them? Not only are we getting information, but they become more comfortable, usually, right? Very few people are not that apprehensive about sharing. If they're not willing to share, it's because they're still closed off. They're probably an introvert in a way. So now we need to soften it up and just help them along by asking open-ended questions, right? Right. But we need to lead them, right? Oh, so you work at Oracle. Perfect. How long have you been doing there? Okay. Oh, excellent. So tell me, how's Oracle doing? Right? So now I don't talk about them because they want to talk about them. I talk about their work, right? We make it from a personal to something impersonal, meaning it's outside them. Okay. So that's another technique, right? We want to be able to get them to talk about themselves or their family, right? On their personal level, because that's our goal is to get them to know on a personal level. If not, then we need to go outside that, right? When we talk about, it's not, what did they do in Paris? How did they like Paris? So what's new in Paris, right? So we take it outside them. Does that make sense, everybody? Right? Hopefully it does. If not, you need to practice that, right? Get to know people. Okay. So it was Larry's birthday on Friday. It was Sakshi's birthday on Saturday. Did I get that right? 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 Okay. So happy belated birthday, right? So some did the group texting, right? Some of you did the Facebook thing because I saw it, right? Um, Now, how many of you guys called the people, right? Right. So I purposely did not call them because I wanted to see, you know, what the results were, right? So Larry, how many happy birthday calls did you get? Sakshi, how many birthday calls did you get? Not from us only, but from everybody in your circle. You like share?
Sure. I received about 64 calls
Okay.
and about almost 600 texts.
All right. Okay. All right. So now that's a lot. Okay. All right. He's you know, Larry's very popular, as John just said, right? Yeah, that's a lot. I don't think I've gotten 600 texts, right? But again, that's a lot, right? So now, when you get that many, that means he's making these calls and texts also. Are we clear about that? Right? Okay. Because if I'm assuming Larry, you call people about their birthdays, right? Right? You text people sometimes, right? Yeah. Some of you guys even do videos singing happy birthday to people, right? Okay. I've done that, right? Not to my clients, family members, right? It's up to you, right? Personal touch, right? This is what we call high touch, right? Using high tech, right? But still not losing that personal touch, right? Because if you just post it on Facebook or you know um, a group chat, right? Which is good. Sometimes your message will get lost. That's why I believe in still making that personal call, that personal text, if you can, right? Okay. Um, so um, let's see what happened to Sakshi. Sakshi, did how many? Do you remember how many calls or texts you got? Did your husband
Yes,
remember it was your birthday?
right. I got about like close to 20 to 25 calls, and it was
Yeah,
mostly like Facebook messages and WhatsApp
yeah,
messages that I received. I don't have a
yeah,
count of it, but would be a
yeah,
lot, like all the friends and
yeah.
relatives. Yeah,
Okay. Did your husband the first one to say happy birthday?
he was, yes.
Perfect. That's good, right? Okay. So that means he has a good lead follow-up system, right? He remembered when he woke up, right? Uh, it's that. It's guys, we have to somehow get that our CRM and our database is intact, right? It has to be there, right? So hopefully you guys have that already. You know, if you haven't, you guys need to have that database system, together already, right? Now, when we're prospecting, what is the challenge that we have, right? So we talk about, do you know where to find them? Do you know who they are, right? Do you know what to say and do? And do you do it often enough? So that's my three questions for the group, right? Do we know who to call? And do we have enough? Do we? Do we know who to call? Yes. I need some feedback. Do you know who to call?
Expireds?
Yeah. Right. How many of you guys are calling expires for sale by owners? Anyone?
Yes.
Anyone? Yes. Okay. So which system are you using, Clementina? Did you set up with one of the vendors, or how are you getting the for sale by owners expires?
So I just would door knock instead of call.
Okay.
So I don't pay for any service to get
All
the
right.
phone numbers.
Okay.
Or like if it's for sale by owner, then I can see the phone number. They've posted their phone number.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a good strategy. Like I said, to me, it's always face to face. Prospecting has always been the best. Door knocking
Hmm.
them, right? So
Yeah,
just make sure you don't drive too far, right? Yeah.
right.
Uh, your hot leads, right? You guys have leads, right?
Hmm.
How are you guys, with lead follow up with them, right? Like I said before, the World Cup, right, has been in the news, right? The last 6, 8 weeks, right? Yeah. You don't have to be a soccer fan to talk about it, right? So when I talk to people, right, when I'm calling them, I say one of my topics. So by the way, are you a soccer fan? Hey, have you been following up? Have you been following the World Cup? Do you know what the World Cup is all about? Right? It depends, right? How again, this is just a topic of conversation. Because when I call people, it's not always about real estate, right?
Mhm.
Personal, social, then business, guys. Okay. Because if we always talk about real estate and they're not thinking of moving, right? Imagine if I'm calling Brent every quarter and I say, hey, I just want to give you a market update. Hey, just want to let you know interest rates are good. If that's my topic of conversation, he's not thinking of moving, he's going to start to tune me out or he's going to send me to voicemail every time I call, right? Or he'll listen to my message first before he picks up, right? But if I'm calling him, on his birthday, right? Not every year, right? Because I don't know if everybody calls you on your birthday every single year, right? It's not always, but hey, every so often, at least every couple of years, you should be calling people on their birthdays, right? And if you have a good CRM, that will pop up pretty easy, right? But I cannot just be calling you about your birthday. But sometimes that's all it is. Hey Twinkle, just want to wish you a happy birthday today. What's your number, right? Maybe that's the message this year. Next year, hey Twinkle, happy birthday. Right? Now, at some point, I'm going to Twinkle's year, right? If I've been talking to Twinkle for the past 5 years, right, the past 3 years, I'm going to know her birthday when she was born, right? Not just the month, day, but the actual date, right? How will I ask that? But besides just asking, right? I'm going to tease her sometimes, or I will somehow figure it out, right? Either in Facebook or common friends, right? Now, if you don't have that, right? If you don't get that somehow, right? That's okay. But at least you're calling. Now, if I don't call Larry on his birthday or Sakshi on her birthday, right? Is it okay to call like a couple days later? Hey, just want to wish you a belated happy birthday, right? I noticed that, on Facebook, your birthday was this Sunday. So happy birthday. So how old are you? Right? Sometimes it's that, right? Uh, but if, for instance, right, where Facebook reminds you, hey, it's Anu's birthday, right? Guess what? That would be a perfect time to just pick up a phone and just call her. Do it now. Does it make sense? Right? Don't put things for later because you'll never get done. Right? It'll just pile up. John?
One thing that I did to get their birthday was uh, I developed a very decent rapport with the lender.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know the lender.
Yeah.
And then when we closed, I say, hey, by the way, it's great working with you.
Mm.
Do you mind to share my client's birthday with me? Because when they fill out the application, they have it.
Mm.
And sometimes like no, sometimes like yeah.
Yeah.
So I try to get it from
Yeah.
that way.
So you ask the lender,
Yeah.
right? You can also ask title because they take their driver's license when they sign off. That's why sometimes I go to the type sign off, right? Because you see their ID, right? But yeah, again, don't make this like it's rocket science, right? Or that it's so critical for you to get it, right? You'll eventually will get it. But that's a great thing, you ask your lender, your affiliates, right? Who do they know? And again, this is where if you know similar friends, right, similar contacts, you might get some information, right? But like I said, how many of you guys like when you meet someone, right? After you make that connection, you ask them, "Hey, are you on Facebook? I'd like to be friends." Right? How many of you guys ask for people's Instagram or you know their Facebook page? Right? That's a good connection to me, right? Because now, guess what? Not only am I friend with them, now I gotta be friends with their friends. Does it make sense? Right? Okay. Because now you're gonna make friend requests, right? How many of you guys do that? Okay. Some of you guys don't, which is totally fine, right? But why not? Right? Brent, right? See, yeah, you guys should turn on your camera, right? So, yeah, some of you guys are not doing it, right? Larry, I know does it, right? That's why he has that many contacts, right? Right? How about you, Anu? friends, ask, friend request from your new friend. Yeah. How
I
many of you
always
guys
do it with my social circle, but not really with my clients. So that's a good
yeah,
idea. I'll start doing that with the
right?
clients as well.
Because what's the worst case? They say no, all right? But see, people always add, if I know, Anu, Greg knows Anu. Okay, fine, right? You never know where that connection is going to happen, right? Okay. Remember, it's social media, right? It's not real estate media yet, right? But eventually, their friends are going to know I'm in real estate. Um, you know, if you can read people once you're friends with somebody, you can read their profiles, right? I don't suggest stalking people, but yet you can start to get to know people and you find commonalities, right? And what maybe you'll post something there like, hey, you know, get your free pass, right? The California State Park pass. Hey, here's a list of fireworks. Hey, did you know about this first time home buyer program, right? Last week we talked about Twinkle's BMR program, right? The below market rate homes. Maybe that's the post that someone's gonna see. Oh, let me call that. And you're like, who's this person? And then you figure, oh, we know each other somehow on Facebook or something, right? Or on Instagram, right? They somehow found me. You never know where you're going to make these connections. If you want to get business, then we just need to put ourselves out there, right? And again, you don't have to do that, but you got to do something, right? So once we meet people, right? Let me pull up. Um, you guys know I don't have it on this one, but you guys know about the my contact lead follow up system, right? And that was emailed last week, right? Remember, hot, warm, cold, fire, ice, right? How often do I mail? Make sure you guys review that and come back next week if you have more questions about that, right? Because you got to have a monthly mailing system, right, of people that you know, right? So, and go, if you're not on tpmco.com yet, right, the personal marketing company, if you're not a newsletter system yet, don't create your own. It takes too much time, right? Pay the 90 cents per piece, to mail out and just start adding people there, right? And I guarantee you, no one's going to ask you to take them off that list. And I challenge you guys that, okay? For those who have started it, let me know how your results are, you know, because again, I know, question?
Yes, I just wanted to ask, how is this different from Follower Boss?
Okay,
Because I'm already like adding my contacts there. So do I
okay.
do it here as well?
The boss is a CRM. It's where we put our database, right? PMCO is a company that will mail out monthly printed newsletter for you. Okay, right. So if you have more questions about it, I can cover that at the end. Um, yeah, but that's tpmco.com, right? It's a monthly newsletter. I've been using it for 35 years. That's how I get referrals. That's how people remember who I am, right? Every month they're getting something from me. Like if I ask Brett or Anu, do you remember who the agent that you bought the house from? Do you guys remember? Anu, how long have you had your current house?
So it's been like 5 years now.
All right, okay. To Brent and Anu, is your previous agent, do you know their name still? Right? Yes? Okay.
Yeah, I
Anu,
do.
right? Okay.
Although they have not done any
Yeah.
things that you're caught,
So here's my question next, right? Are they mailing something to you every month to Brent and Anu, the agent,
nothing.
every month? Nothing,
No,
right? No email, no mailer, right?
no,
Are they have how many times have you heard from them in the last 12 months?
zero.
Right? So here's my point. All right. I know you're in real estate. Maybe Anu just got into real estate. I don't need to keep in touch or she'll never, buy from me again. Here's the thing, right? We don't know where relationships are going to happen, right?
Mhm.
Okay. Maybe you don't, if you find out your client went into real estate, you stop making to them. See, I always think that they will not last in real estate, right? But if they do and they're successful, great. That's okay. At least when I write an offer on Anu's listing, she'll remember that I sold her out. There's a relationship there. Maybe she'll
Right.
treat my offer better, or at least she'll help me out get my client's offer accepted. Does that make sense? Okay.
Yeah.
I have some realtors on my database, right? I'm mailing to them so they can see what I'm doing. It's okay. It's because I want them to have it because I'm going to see them. See, if I'm spending $60 every 5 years on somebody, right, and he helps me get a deal or gives me a deal, it pays for itself, right? So, as an example, with Brent and Anu, their agent, no follow up after, right? I don't know why not, right? Because imagine if their agents did follow up, yeah, for the past 4 years, 5 years, no deal from them specifically, but maybe they may have been had some referrals, right? We don't know what the relationship is. Maybe now we're friends. Maybe now you're being invited to parties, right? Maybe you're invited to events. We never know where our commonalities will come from, right? I have friends where I met them through playing basketball, through riding motorcycles, and I get clients from there eventually. See, do something fun, what you like to do, and figure out how to do this, right? Anybody play pickleball?
Yes.
I call that, tennis for lazy people, right? Right? Well, it's okay. See, pickleball, right? It's been hot, right? Last 5, 10 years, right? I think it's gonna go away, right? That's my personal opinion. But if that's your fun, then go join the pickleball club, right? Or find people to play pickleball with, right?
Mhm.
Do what you like to do and find ways to do business in it. Okay. But don't just, do so you can do business in it. Make sure it's fun. And then from there, you can, figure out how to do business in it. Like you like to work out, wear Intero gear at your workout, right? Or have an Intero bottle, right? Something that says real estate on it. If you have an event or something going on, market that. Say, hey, here's, when do you talk to people where you are? Like when you go to events, do you guys talk to people? You have to get to know people. You got to learn how to create conversations, right? And just smile, right? Smile, pay a compliment, right? Remember, right? Then ask a question. Okay, that's the order, right? Smile, pay a compliment, and then a question, right? If you have nothing to say, you can't find a compliment, just ask a better question, right? So if you guys are challenged with that, give me a scenario and I'll give you some scripts, right? That I've done probably to where you can create a conversation, right? Okay. So what is the challenge in prospecting? Or are we good at prospecting? Are you sure? Because then if you're good with prospecting, I need you guys to start turning in your 100 points day, right? So I can see how many people are you really talking to every day? Because what I'm finding out is you have good days and you have bad days, right? And thank you for the people who's turning in because I can see it. The consistency is not there yet, right? To where every day the number of contacts you have to hit, yeah. Twinkle, you don't go home until you hit your numbers, right? Yeah.
Yes.
And this goes with everybody, right? You have a daily goal, right? That is your number of, that is how you're gonna say today was a good day. Sometimes you'll get busy because you have deals working on, right? Appointments come up. Okay, so you didn't do it, but then you need to make sure you do it for the week, right?
So I think it's easy to run out of people to call because there's only so many expireds. I don't feel like there's
Yeah,
a ton
correct.
of expireds, right? So
You are right. There's not enough, right? So now who do you call? Remember, you got your Australian by owners expired. They're not enough. There's only one.
right.
Leads, I don't have any. Your
Mm.
COIs, I've already spoken to them. I don't have enough. Well, guess what? Then you got to call other people. You got to call strangers. You got to meet them, not just by phone. Then you got to door knock them. You got to be out
Hmm.
in the public, right? Go hang out at Costco, right? And start to meet people, right? It's We have to find people to talk to. And if we can't find it in our circle, right? The people that we know, then we need to go outside that. So how do we create that? How, are you willing to meet strangers? Yes or no, right? You have to. The simplest thing is to just do an open house, but that does not guarantee you people coming in. So you need to
Yeah.
make sure you spec around the open house,
So I
right?
prospected around my open house for this weekend, and I only had one couple come in, and they only came in because they got my flyer and they already knew who I was, so they just came to visit. So I
Good.
was,
So are you able to add them to your database now?
yes,
Because now you know their name and address. Were you able to get their phone number?
yes.
Okay. See, that's how this works. That's one that week, that day. Now imagine if you did that every single day. That means you get 7 per week, right? 5 per week.
Right.
That's 20 per month, right?
Yes.
20 per month times 40 is what? 20 times 40 is 800. Does that make sense? Right?
Yes.
So if you do it for 40 weeks, right? You can have 800 new people already in your database. Now, what do you think the issue is with those people? If you're able to make connections with people, right?
Hmm.
And you're doing a lead follow, you have a good lead follow-up system, and you're bringing value to the conversation. Do you think you can convert 8 of them, 8 out of 100? Absolutely, right? This is where, to me, the math is so simple, right? How bad do I have to be that 792 people have to reject me so I can get those 8? But can I get to the 800? Can I get to the 20? Can I work 40 weeks in a year? Right? So, right?
Yes.
Okay. So can you do it? And again, this is although Clementina and I are having this private conversation, this works for everybody, right? Imagine if you find 5 good people every day, right? Five
Hmm.
good people every day, right?
Yes, that'd be great.
So how long will that take for you to find 5 people every day? Like if Brett left his office, right? Can he find 5 good conversations? Just walk down San Carlos Ave, right? And just say, "Good morning, how are you?" You know, and just start passing out his card or his flyer. If that's all you did was pass out your flyer, not even trying to get conversations. Good morning. Here's some information about real estate. Here's some information about real estate. You just go down. Most people probably not do anything with that flyer, right? But what if someone did, and you did that consistently, right? What can you have, right? One push up a day doesn't do anything. Yeah,
Yes.
one push up every day for the next couple of weeks will become 2 or 3 or 5 or 10 every single day. It will increase. It's what we call the accumulation effect. Okay, so I need you guys to get to that accumulation effect. It's what we call momentum, right? Before momentum happens, we need to have inertia. It's our physics, right? So a body in motion tends to keep being in motion, right? Unless something hits it, right? An immovable force. So in order for momentum to happen, inertia must happen first. We have to get going. We have to get started. That's why I challenge us to get out of your house every day. That's the first step in going to work is getting out of the house, right? Stop staying in your home office, right? Get out of the house because people, where are the business happening? In your house or outside your house? Outside the house. So we have to be out there. Okay. So I need to stop harping you guys about talking to people, right? Because if you're not talking to enough people, guys, we need to figure why not. So I ask you guys, how come you're not talking to enough people? Because that is the challenge. So what is the answer? Clementina says there's not enough for sub hours expires. Well, we know that. That's a fact. We don't have enough leads because we haven't talked to enough people. We don't have enough COIs because we haven't connected with people. Well, then we have to talk to strangers. So how many strangers are you able to talk to every day? And what do we need to do to increase it? What do we need to
I think,
do?
like you said, joining different activities is a good idea.
So now, what activity are you going to join next, Matia?
Well,
Right?
I started taking Zumba classes, so
Great.
I've been seeing the same group of people Tuesdays and Thursdays. That's been
Okay.
good.
Have you been connecting like, hey, how are you? What's your name? Right?
Exactly, yes.
That's the first step, right? What's your name?
Yeah,
So next time you see them, do you greet, now you have to be good at remembering people's names,
right.
right? So you would be the first person to, hey, good morning, Clementina. Hey, good morning, Larry. Morning, Pretty. Right? You should be the first one to greet them by name. Eventually, they're gonna say, what's your name again? See? So now you want them to not remember you, but you want them to eventually remember you. Because if you know their names, right, they're gonna ask you, what's your name again? Right? So now maybe what you want to do is, what's your workout gear look like? If I'm not saying put your name on your workout gear, but at least have Intero in it, right? Or something that they'll remind them of you, like you are the whatever it is, right? If you're the Lululemon girl, right? That's who you are, right? They have to peg your name with something. And to me, it's easy to just put an Intero shirt because no one else is wearing an Intero shirt. So they'll know you as the Intero girl or the real estate person or something, right? See,
Mhm.
you have to be memorable, everybody. Okay? You have to be memorable because we introduce each other, right? At an event, how well will they remember us? We may remember them, but it's not about that. It's okay, how can they remember us? That's where the marketing comes in, right? You meet your neighbor, okay, great. But will your neighbor remember who you are? Right? Like my neighbors, they're getting a mailer because we want them to remember our names. You know who they are, right? Because we're good at remembering people's name, at least the ones we want to remember. But sometimes I meet people at church, and like next week, next Sunday, I have to remind myself what's their names. So how do I do that? Right? I just ask you, I say, again, my name is Greg, and what's your name again? Right? And yes, that's embarrassing. I want to know. So don't make sure next weekend you remember who they are. So what I do now is when I meet people, I put up my phone and I try to, hey, do me a favor. Can is it okay? Um, and I ask them to put in their contact info. So now I know how I met them, right? Or if I don't feel it's, appropriate to just give them my phone or ask for their contact info, then I'll put it in their name, like, Rishan, St. Anne Church, this date. Now I remember his name. I'll look for him and I'm going to greet him. Hey, Rishan, how are you? Yeah, I'm Greg again, right? Okay, he's probably not going to remember me, right? So I'm
Unless,
going to reintroduce myself,
unless you also wrote.
unless he also wrote to it, right? But most people don't because they're not in the job of knowing people's names. But it's our job too, right? So you have to figure out how you're going to remember people's names, guys, right? Writing it down, putting it there, and then purposely the next week or two, target that person if you can remember their face, right? And usually you're able to, right? And if you're not, it's okay, right? You guys will reconnect some other way somehow. Okay. This is just an example, guys. Okay. That we can meet a lot of people, we can make connections with a lot of people if we're intentional. All right. Remember, one of my message was be intentional. If you want to meet people, you want to get to know them, it's easy. But if you don't want to, that's even easier. Right? Okay. Right? Right? It's easy. It's easier not to get to know people. That's okay. But we want to do, it's easy to get to know people though. Okay. Just remember Ford, right? It's pretty easy. And remember, smile, pay compliment, ask a question. Right? Like in church, hi, sometimes I don't have a compliment. Like, yes. So I know, do you usually go to this 6 p.m. mass or 10 a.m. mass? That's the question. Right? It's not, hey, what brings you here? It's about you have to figure out you have to figure out what question to ask. Ask smart questions, and typically it's the topic of wherever we're at. Like, oh, so how do you know John? Or do you guys work together, right? So again, you have to be able to create a conversation. All right, guys. Okay, it's just like my Costco trick, right? It's hey, how do you like that ribeye? Hey, how do you cook that ribeye, right? You know, have you bought that before? How do you like it, right? And then see where the connection comes in. Okay? I've gotten a lot of deals from Costco, right? It's because I've gotten connections. It wasn't because of that interaction though. Sometimes it's years later, right? Okay, right? Because most of the time when I go to Costco, I'm wearing an Etero shirt or I have my name badge. Most of the time, right? I'm not ashamed to be at Costco at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. I've been there. Okay. Um, I got nothing better to do. I have to go shopping. It's there. Yeah. Be intentional, right? How many of you guys have been to the movies at 12 o'clock or 1 o'clock in the afternoon? I have, right? Sometimes you need to rejuvenate, or it's a hot day, just go into movies and watch a movie. Sleep. It doesn't happen very often, though, right? That's what you don't want to do. Or call one of your clients, take them to the movies, or ask them for a coffee, right? Find people to spend time that you like, okay? And from there, things may develop. And here's the thing, guys. Remember inertia? If we're doing something real estate related, somehow real estate business will find us. You're having coffee at Starbucks or wherever, right? Someone may overhear your conversation. Someone may figure out, oh, you're in real estate. I got a real estate question, right? Okay. Remember that trick, guys? If you're at Starbucks, make a sign that says "Ask me real estate." You guys seen that, right? Some of you guys remember that. I hope some of you guys have tried that. And it doesn't, you don't like Starbucks? Boba. Some of you guys do boba, right? I see. Figure out where you can set up shop. That's not in your office. That's not at home. That will be your mobile office. Make sense? Okay. I want you guys to go meet more people. So what's the challenge? Well, how can I help you guys? Before I show you guys a video. And hopefully it works. So what's the challenge? Anybody? Hello? So I'm assuming you guys are able to talk to people, okay? Because if you don't have a deal next month, it's because me, didn't talk to enough people. All right?
Yeah.
Because if the people we have now are not ready to buy or sell, we need to find other people that's ready to buy or sell, right?
Yes.
Where is the place to find people who wants to buy or sell? Where's the
Open
place?
house.
Huh?
Open house.
Well, open house, yeah. But where do you guys think besides open house?
There's you can go to Chamber of Commerce meetings, you
Yeah.
can go to
Um,
social
yeah.
events out in the community.
Events, right? You guys heard of basically where the best place to find buyers and sellers is just outside your home and outside your office. That's a simple answer, right?
Yes.
But typically speaking, just sold prospecting is the best way, right? Why do we teach you guys to go just listed, just sold door knocks, right? Or prospecting? It's because it is so uncanny. When one house comes on the market, within 3 to 6 months, another house will come on the market, generally speaking, right? As long as it's not a forever neighborhood. There are some neighborhoods where people stay there 20, 30, 40, 50 years, okay? Uh, but eventually, there's always a good turnover in most areas. When the one house comes on the market, usually within 30, 60, 90 days, another one's going to come on the market. Within 100 to 200 homes around it. Okay, that is so uncanny. So that's why you should always look at new things every day, go preview it, and prospect around it. And the dialogue is very simple. It's like, hey, did you know your neighbor just put their home on the market? Right? So questions about prospecting. We're good? Okay, let me show you this video first. Right? Hopefully it turns out good. If not, then I'm sorry. On Zoom, we'll have to do it on a live class. Okay, so tell me how it goes.
Okay, well, come on in, grab your seats, hustle. Hustle. You guys ready to take some notes? Okay, good.
Can you guys hear okay, Zoom world?
Got an hour with you.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Come on in and grab your
So this is
chairs,
about
please.
40 minutes long. So
Turn to a clean sheet of notes if you would.
this
and
is
just
Ron
write
Cronin,
prospecting across the
Tom
top.
Ferry's brother-in-law.
son-in-law.
Son-in-law.
Oh no, Tom Ferry's son-in-law, Mike Ferry's son-in-law,
hustle.
Tom Ferry's
Okay,
brother-in-law.
Prima doctor's daughter.
Yes.
Yeah.
So a startling number for me as a coach was one that I've heard a couple years in a row now. And it says that in 2025, 70% of the agents in the United States did no transaction. In fact, it was a little bit more, but 70% did no transaction. It reported there was about 1,000,005 agents that are with the NAR that had paid their MLS dues, and 70% did no transaction. That means like close to 1,000,000 agents out of 1,000,005 did nothing, okay? Now, here's what's also shocking. The ones that did a deal, it says 90% of them did either 3 deals, 2 deals, or 1 deal last year. Now turn to your neighbor and say, he's talking to you. No, not you. Not me. Do you find that shocking? What's the ceiling on income in our country, in our industry? Is there a ceiling how much money we can make? Do we cap out? No, there's no ceiling. But the truth is the majority of people who get involved in the business can't put it together, not only to make a living and sustain a living for them and their family and their future, but they can't even put one deal together. So, but why? Why is it that this industry has all, what we so-called salespeople, but they can't sell? So what's the problem? I wrote down, I want you to write this down. Write down in capital letters, no sales experience, and no sales training. Most of us, when we come into real estate, we don't have sales experience, true sales, direct sales. You might have been in retail, that's pretty common, right? But most of us come in from some other form. And for you, was real estate your first choice for career when you started your life? When you were a little boy or little girl, where you're like, I want to be an astronaut, a fireman, and a real estate agent? Was that you? Or, okay, a couple of you, that's it. But for most of us, it's plan B or plan C or plan K, right, that we wound up in real estate. So we come from a non-sales background, which impacts our production. All right, now let's just call prospecting for today the P word, because as Mike says, like no one wants to talk about it, no one wants to do it. Everyone loves what we get from it, but we don't like it, and we say bad things about it, but the P word. Now keep in mind, guys and gals, Mike Ferry's been teaching this. He has a very specific system for you to follow. And he's been teaching this system, exactly how it is. He's been teaching that for 51 years. Is that amazing? Okay, so he started teaching people to prospect from the beginning because he had a sales background. He prospected in his own real estate business, and it's kind of the main core of like the Mike Ferry system and how we get our business. Raise your hand if prospecting's the main way you generate business. Raise your hands high. Good for you. It's most of you. Most of you, now some people in the room, they don't even know what that word means and what we're talking about. I didn't at my first event. I didn't know that I could prospect and generate leads, appointments, and money. It wasn't exposed to me. I was trained to do open houses, geographic farming, and floor time. Who received that brilliant training? Right? So for 51 years, he's been teaching this system, never straying from it, always enforcing it, always helping you make money. And most of us have, made incredible careers and built incredible businesses using the system. Now recently, have you folks heard of, on social media, we have a lot of competitors now. You guys know that? I mean, they call you every day, don't they? The competitors. Okay, we have a lot of competitors. And, recently I've seen some competitors on social media that are, kind of attacking the Mike Ferry system. This comes in waves. A new trainer comes along and then they start attacking the Mike Ferry system or relating themselves to the Mike Ferry system. They either follow the Mike Ferry system, our competitors, or they don't follow the Mike Ferry system, or they say you should or that you shouldn't, but it's always the Mike Ferry system that they're talking about. Have you ever noticed that? Whether they say you should or you shouldn't. It's always the system they keep talking about, whether they're for it or against it, whether they worked for Mike or whether they didn't work for Mike. But they're always talking about the Mike Ferry system. Now, I have heard that, there's one particular competitor attacking our scripts. He's saying our scripts are dated and old. Our prospecting scripts, right? And I kind of take it personally. How about you guys, right? Dated and old. I'll tell you what script is dated and old. That one, that the Mike Ferry scripts don't work. That's an old script. Notice they're trying to sell you on that constantly, and then all of a sudden, now this particular competitor, just so you know, Mike had been coaching and training and teaching prospecting and helping top producers for 20 years before this competitor was even born. Do you understand? Mike is teaching top producers how to make incredible amounts of money and build an incredible business. And then, then the competitor was like, oh, come here. Look at you. Oh, right? Mike had been in the business for 20 years, and all of a sudden this person is trying to say that our scripts don't work and they're old, and you should use their scripts now. Okay? Now, at the same time, have you ever heard us teach you how our effectiveness, the words that we use when we're prospecting are only 7% of our effectiveness? So is it really the script? Say no. Say it's the actor. Isn't that really what it is? Okay? It's not the words on the paper. This competitor had a poopy diaper when Mike was holding his first superstar retreat. Right? Who are you going to follow? So I have some advice. Instead of, and I'm only speaking to a portion of the audience, I understand, or maybe it's used sometimes and sometimes not, but I'd recommend that instead of looking for a way out of prospecting, right, this year in 26, instead of trying to find other ways to avoid it or get around it, instead of doing that, let's instead do this. You've heard Mike tell us we have to strengthen the link. Everybody go like this. Take your two fingers, and we have to strengthen the link between prospecting and the goals that you've set. Right? Do it again. Come on. You like it. Strengthen the link. Okay? Between prospecting and the goals that you've set. Because for a lot of you, the reason that you lose sight of your goals or your business plans sometime in the year, the reason you lose sight is because it's not clear for you, and the connection between the calls and the money, I don't believe is as strong as it needs to be. Sometimes we're making calls because we're supposed to make calls. And I want to look good. So I make my calls. I'm not really trying to get appointments, or sometimes I am and sometimes I'm not. You make calls because your coach expects you to, because the system, because somebody's watching, and you're going to make your calls, okay? But you've got to look at why, what's going on in your head, okay? But it's strengthening the link between your calls and the money. Say that. I have to strengthen the link Between my prospecting calls and the money. Raise your hand if you're in real estate sales. Okay. There's only 3 ways for us to get business. Let's say it together. We can wait for it, we can buy it, or we can find it. Let's say it again. We can wait for it, we can buy it, or we can find it. Anything you can think of is going to fall under one of those 3 categories. Okay? Waiting for the business. Write down open house. Open house. Yeah, of course you can get business from open house. Someone asked me earlier in the elevator, why is Mike against open houses? He's not. He just says there's several other things that you could do to probably get a better result and enjoy your Sunday doing something you want to do. Write down floor time. They still do floor time? Where they get realtors to answer the phone? Some people do it still. Floor time. I used to think that was going to be the best thing for my career. Write down waiting for your COI or your SOI, waiting for your center of influence to call you. Waiting for your center of influence to call you. My coaching clients for my entire career, they'll tell me, oh, I got this call from a past client. Haven't heard from them in such a long time. They want me to list their house. And I go, well, congratulations, but let's go back. What do you mean they haven't heard from you in such a long time? What are you talking? And then they called you anyway in spite of your laziness? Right? Waiting for your center of influence to call. Write down postcards, right? Direct mail. That's waiting. You know, you send out the mailer. Who's ever sent out a couple, like in the beginning, you sent out a couple hundred mailers and then you ran back to your house and waited for the phone to ring. My mailer drops today. Right? And then you home and then you're waiting and waiting. And then 2 days go by and then you're like, oh, the 3rd day. And guess what? It's over. Right? It's over. Posting, waiting for people to contact you. People are like, I put posts up and then people call me and they're going to call me and they're going to list their house. Okay. That's waiting. There's a bunch of other forms of waiting, but write down buying, or next to the word buy, please write down, buying straight up leads. Buying leads straight up. Paying an ISA, a person to prospect for you, right? Paid ads on social media. Paid ads about your listings or some event you're doing. There's all kinds of ways that you can spend money to avoid making the calls. And we try to do that. Okay, write down finding, or next to the word find, please write down write down talking to people. Turn to your neighbor, look him right in the eye. Okay, look him right in the eye. Now don't look away. Say, your job is to talk to people. Okay, you can stop looking now. You're finding the business. Your job is to talk to people. Okay? So how can we talk to, now, again, we sell real estate. I would like to talk to people that own homes because they're the ones that list and sell their home, correct? Okay, so I would like to talk to people that own homes. I've only got a couple ways I can do it. I can go talk to them at the house, or what? I can phone them to their house on the phone or to their cell phone. But there's really no other way that I can get a hold of them, is there? Say no. So then what do? Do I wait for it? Do I try to buy it? Or do I learn how to go find it? Who's learned how to go find it? Who's good at it? Who's made a ton of money doing it? Everybody, the hands stay up the whole time. Okay, good. It's a matter of getting started. Turn to your neighbor, look him right in the eye and say, this is a sales job. That was my aha moment at Productivity School many years ago, my first Mike Ferry event. I sat in the back, and at one point, Matthew Ferry was a speaker, and at one point I nudged the guy next to me and I go, oh my God, this is a sales job. And I had been in the business for 5 years. I thought it was a who you know job and look good and fancy stuff attracts people, and I had no idea. I had no idea, literally. It's embarrassing to say, but it's true. We all start somewhere, right? It's a sales job. And if you haven't had sales training, that's what we do. Mike Ferry trains sales people in the industry of real estate. When you're with us, you've all learned how to become a salesperson. It's time for the rest of you to get your sales degree, to learn how to sell. I was a fine dining waiter before I got involved with the system and this whole thing. Fine dining waiter. I could talk to people, I made okay money or whatever, but I did not know how to sell. I did not know how to find leads. I didn't know how to follow up. I didn't know what to say. I didn't know how to handle confrontation. I couldn't do all those things that you're dealing with every day. Please write down number 2 if that was number 1. Write down number 2. Why is it so hard? Why is it so hard every day? It's this mental battle in my brain. I'm supposed to do it. I don't want to do it. I'm going to do it. I don't want to do it now. I'll do it later. I'll do it now. I'll do it later. I'm supposed to do it now. I'll just go do something else. I'll come back to it. I'm not feeling it. It's this constant conversation. Write down, I don't know what to say. Or for some of you, if I don't know what to say, right? Because you do, but I don't know what to say. Write down fear, capital letters, fear. Prospecting. There's a fear going on that prevents me from doing it. I'm afraid. I'm a 60-year-old man, but I'm afraid to do it. And I said that when I was 50 and when I was 40. I'm a 40-year-old man. I'm afraid to do it. Here I am, a 60-year-old man, still afraid to do it. I have a fear of rejection. Write that down. A fear of rejection. Like I'm afraid that someone's going to really say something off-putting or slam the phone on me or cuss or yell or reject me or just say no. Right? I don't like it when people tell me no. And it stops me. Right? But how many of you are married? Married men, raise your hands. How come you're not afraid of rejection there? You're like, hey, how about it? She's like, nah. You're like, hey, come on. No, come on. You keep closing, you keep trying, you keep coming back, following up. I followed up in the kitchen, I followed up in the den, I followed up. I'm fear of embarrassment. Write down embarrassment. Embarrassment. I'm afraid to be embarrassed. Right? I'm fear of this embarrassment thing. And to tell you the truth, my experience, personally, I just think most of us, that's what we struggle with the most when it's prospecting, because our egos can't handle someone saying no, or embarrassing me, or I look silly, or I look dumb, or I make a mistake, or I do something wrong. We can't handle it, and so that we will avoid any activity that has that as its potential. Do you understand what I'm saying? We'll avoid any of those activities, okay? Fear of acceptance. Acceptance. We're afraid. Check it out. What if I make these calls and then they say yes? Now what do I do? What do I wear? What do I do? What do I send? What do I bring? What do I say? How do I deal with their questions or their objections? Right? Fear of acceptance. But let me ask you, if you have these fears, raise your hand if you have them or had them or have them or to some degree. Okay, everybody knows what I'm talking about here, right? But is this costing you money? Okay, is it worth the cost of it, if it's costing you a deal a month, one a month? Is that affecting the household? The future? It's affecting everything. And is it really worth you remaining, not ever being embarrassed to compromise your family's income that way? I want you to think about it that way, okay? Because I can run around how I don't like calling FSBOs because they're so mean, or whatever. And then you don't. But if you did, and you called them consistently, like every other person that does, you'd probably convert a couple, maybe 2 or 3 in the course of a year, times your average commission is 30, 50 grand. But you don't, because, you don't like to be embarrassed. Write down lack of preparation. Lack of preparation makes prospecting very hard. When you are not prepared, when your area is not prepared, when your materials are not prepared, you will not do it. Okay? Lack of preparation. Lack of mental preparation. Who has maybe a 10 or 15 minute pre-prospecting routine that you do to mentally, physically get ready for your session? Who's got one? Some. But who needs one? Think about it. You have a very tough job mentally. It can be emotional. You have highs and lows in your business. So to take a few minutes like I did back here, I took 30 minutes back here to get ready to talk to you for an hour and had to get my head straight, put my thoughts together, block out a bunch of stuff going on, and focus on what I'm doing here. But I have to have this routine. I don't just walk out of the lunchroom and get up here hey, it's not fair. It's not professional, and it's not, you guys deserve more. Write down lack of consistency. First 10 rows, I'm talking to you right here. You guys prospect, I know you do. And you make money and you're good and all that. But the challenge that a lot of you or higher producers make is the consistency or the lack of consistency. Okay? And that makes prospecting challenging when you get away. One time when I was the sales manager at MFO here, I went to Mike with an idea and I said, hey Mike, I was thinking, Friday is a slow day around the office sometimes. The sales are lower, agents are not around, and this kind of thing. So I was thinking maybe we go to a 4-day work week. We'll work 4 10s, right? We'll work 4 10s and take Friday, Saturday, Sunday off, because we don't really, Friday's kind of a bust, And he smiled and shook his head no. And I said, well, tell me about that. He goes, we've tried that before. He goes, you can't let salespeople off for that much time in a row. You guys know what it is on a 4th of July weekend. You come back all like, where am I? What's going on? I don't even know, right? All you get's 2 days, and maybe a day and a half is best, right? Lack of consistency, and then watch, lack of schedule. Lack of schedule, okay? Lack of schedule. So repeat after me. If it's not in my schedule, it won't get done. Turn to your neighbor, elbow them, and say, I need a schedule. Yeah. Okay, so for most of you, the biggest, broadest reason that prospecting is challenging for the newer agent is that you don't know what to say, okay? It's just basically what it is. We teach what to say in every real estate sales situation. We teach you what to say. That's what I want you to know, okay? Repeat after me again. I haven't taken the time to learn what to say. Like, you can learn just as well as anybody. You can be great at it. You just have to take the time to learn the scripts, learn how to say the scripts, practice, put them in play, take your licks, get spanked, get knocked around a little bit, and then come back and you'll be good, right? You can't spend all your time in the simulator. Role play and practice. You have to go out there. Okay, so this starts with your 2026 business plan. Listen, it starts with your 26 business plan and the number of contacts that you need to make. So I want to go in your head, think about your business plan for this year. Who's got a 26 business plan? Who needs one? Come on, it's the middle of the month. The race has already started. You don't have a map. Okay? All right, good. So it starts with that. So I want you to think about how many contacts are in your business plan for 2026. Total for the year. You decided how many people you had to talk to, and you had your formula, and it was based on last year's numbers, et cetera, et cetera. But whatever that number is, you got that number in your mind? Okay. So, and write down this as an example of a simple business plan. Write this down. Write down 6,000 contacts. 6,000 contacts in a year. Okay, that'll be 500 a month, 125 a week, and 25 a day. 25 is an industry standard for prospecting. Any company, including ours, is going to ask you to talk to 25 people every day or more for more money, but 25 is a minimum standard. So if you did that, you would talk to 6,000 people. Write down underneath that 100 listing appointments. 100 listing appointments in a year. Is that an unreasonable expectation for everyone in this room? It isn't. It's 2 a week. Raise your hand if you go to work 5 days a week or more. Okay, so you go to work 5 or 6 days a week, you work for a sales company, your own, and you only present the service of your company twice a week? Turn to your neighbor and say, what's the matter with you? Think about it. Raise your hand if you work in the sales department at your company. You're supposed to be presenting the service every day if you can. You make sense? All right. 100 I think asking you to present our service twice a week is reasonable. And if you're not, there's a problem that we can fix. Okay? Write down 70 listings taken. Let's say you have a decent presentation, you're pretty good at what you do, you know how to talk to people, you present 100 times, 70 say yes and hire you. Write down 60 sell. 60 of those listings sell. 10 won't. Couple might expire, they might cancel, they might roll over till the next year because you took them in the fourth quarter, 60 sell, and then write down what your average commission is times 60. But if your average commission, will just say 10,000, for those of you that don't know your average commission, let's say it's 10,000, you would make $600,000 GCI that year. Are you with me so far? So the income per contact is $100. 6,000 contacts, 600 grand for the year. Average contact, each contact is worth $100 in that scenario. Are you with me? Yes. Turn to your neighbor and say, I never put a dollar amount on the contacts. From that scenario, each contact is worth $100. Now, if you have a goal or in your plan, or in your map, it says that you're going to talk to 20 contacts a day, that means that you make $2,000 a day when you make those calls. 2,000 a day is 10 grand a week, is 40 grand a month. Who wants the job? He wants 3 times as much. But 20 a day, if those are your numbers, 20 contacts a day is $2,000 a day. A missed contact that day, Stephen, cost $100. It cost you $100 if these are your numbers. Are you with me? Yes. Now, have any of you ever, cut out early and maybe we're a little short on your contacts? Have you walked away and like 6 short today? Okay. In this situation, that would cost you $600 to not hit your 20. Think about it. Okay. How much does it cost you if you skip a day? Like, and I'm going to stay home. Pull the covers up. How much does it cost you? $2,000 that you don't make those contacts that day. Now, you've never looked at it from this way, have you? So I want you to write down my friend's name. Write down John Sullivan. John Sullivan makes $232 per contact. 232, John Sullivan. Write down Danny Grubb. Danny, are you here? Danny Grubb, $152 per contact when he makes his calls. You guys know our great client, Ethan Penrose. We saw him at the Superstar Retreat. Ethan, right? Ethan, he makes $65 a contact. Now his dad, Jason, he makes $215 per contact. And I want you to write down one number. Rebecca Gilbert, you guys all know Rebecca, $92 a contact. So I really want you to think about how much these things are worth each day and not to take them lightly and to understand it's the pathway, the map to where you're trying to get to. Now, do you know what's weird? As a coach, all my clients have a business plan, and it'll be interesting around Valentine's Day, 6 weeks into the year, I'll ask, okay, where's your business plan? And they'll be like, it's around here somewhere. And we lose sight of the numbers. And what we spend all this time figuring out these contacts, and then you, little by little, might be coming up short, skipping days, missing contacts. At the end of the year, you're not where you want to be financially. You missed your goals. You missed your production goal. And then, but the truth is it could be because you didn't do your job. Okay. Now, as agents, as real estate agents, are we always trying to save money? Come on, as a person, do you try to save money when you can? Say yes. You're driving and I need gas, and you look over here. Now in California, it's like gas is, diesel is $4.75 over here or $4.65 over here. Oh, I'll go over here and save 10 cents on a gallon of gas. You guys do that? You know where the cheap gas station is, and you go save gas over there, right? When you're at the grocery store, Michelle calls, hey, could you pick up some bread on the way home? Sure. I'm like, $1.99, $2.99. Oh, I'll take the $1.99. I'll save a buck. Right? I'll save a buck. We're traveling, I'm on Expedia. Oh, a killer sale on the flights. I saved $160. Yes. On my flights. But I left the office early, 5 contacts. My number's 150. It cost me $750 to go home and save $160 on airfare. Who was there at friggin' 4 o'clock in the morning on Black Friday? Come on. Who was there? Trying to save a few bucks on a DVD player or some iPhone or something? Huh? Who was out there Black Friday? You won't raise your hands. Right? Out there at 4 o'clock in the morning with a hoodie on. Oh my God. Save some money. Dads, I walk through the house all the time. Who left the lights on? Turn off the lights. Turn them off. God, Lord, it's the broad daylight. Turn them off. Right? Trying to save money on the electric bill. Got your points. Got your miles. You know what excites me more than anything? I can't figure out why. When my Starbucks app says I can get a free coffee if I use my points, my star point 200, I get free coffee. I'm like, yes! $6.50 my coffee costs. So how much is lost when you don't achieve your daily numbers? How much is lost when you don't achieve the daily numbers? Okay, so watch. So you saved $12 at lunch using your points. But if you're Ethan, where are you, Ethan? Where's that? If you're Ethan, you lost $780 being 12 contacts short. Jason loses $645 when he's 3 contacts short. Where are you at, Jason? Right next to him. You lose $650 when you're 3 contacts short. Are you the type of guy to let $650 out of your pocket for no reason? Just like, hey, whatever. No. Right? Have you thought about this? Coaching's only $750. Coaching's only $750. You walk away 3 contacts short, that's $650 for him. Now, I thought you wanted to save money. Okay? So you left early for lunch. You were 4 contacts short, but you got your 4th foot long free. My friends call me on Friday. Hey, Ron, let's go happy hour, half-price pitchers at McGee's. Saved $3 on a pitcher, but it cost me $1,250 because I left half my contacts. I didn't call them. Have you thought about it this way? Have you figured out what your number is? All right, just do this. Take your income goal, divide it by your contacts, and that's your income per contact. And you have to know your value. You have to know what you're worth. Understand the skill that you have. I mean, what other job is there that we can wake up in the morning, you know, have a little coffee, right? Have a sip of coffee. Somebody give me the phone. I know exactly who to call. I know exactly what to say. I'm going to line up a 15, 20-minute listing appointment and go over there and list their house. And some of you are going to earn $5, $10, $15, $20, $50,000 when you do it. And they're going to hire somebody, aren't they? Yes. And you figured out what to say and you figured out what to do. All right, so here's the pain. Ready for the pain? Yeah. Say, I'm ready. In 2025, estimate how many contacts you were short. Yes. Do it! Write it down. You know, estimate. Were you 1,000 short? Were you 2,000? Of your business plan said, you know, 6,000 and you did 3,800. Okay, now, I'm not going to ask you to bring your phones out, but it looks like you're doing calculators. So how much money did you lose based on being short on contacts? Was it 25 grand, 50 grand, 150 grand that you were short? 150 grand for most of you is like 10 deals, right? 10 deals. For most of you, you could do 10 deals out of, you know, I don't know, a lot of you up here in the front rows could do 10 deals out of 1,500 contacts or better, if you got to think about it. Have you ever cut out early, you know, a little short on your contacts? Think about this. 6 contacts a day, if you were short, it adds up to 1,500 for the year. But, you know, it's easy to be like, oh, I'm 6 short. I made 19. I did pretty good. 19's good. But your plan says 25. Can you follow a map? Can you? Your business plan, pay attention, your business plan is the map. The analyzer, your tracking system, is your GPS. It shows you where you are on the map at any time and where you are in relationship to the goals you have. And then you have your coach. And then your coach oversees this whole thing going on, helping you, guiding you, like this, back and forth, and a little adjustment here, a little adjustment there, wink, and then get back out there, right? If you follow this. Now, I can tell you that the most people who hit their contacts at the end of the year also enjoy hitting their production goal and their income goal. Most of them. I'd say 95% of the people that follow the plan that your coach approved, you'll hit the goal if you follow the plan. Do you remember when we had the money back guarantee with coaching? Do you guys remember that years ago? We went to Mike and he didn't want to do it, but we go, let's do a money back guarantee. He was like, he didn't want to do it, but we talked him into it. And it went like this. You're in coaching. You write a plan with your coach. Coach approves it. Send them to Mike. Mike approves the plan. You now execute the plan for the next 12 months. And our guarantee said that if you don't achieve the goal, we'll give you all your money back for coaching for that year. All of it back if you don't hit the goal of this plan that we helped you write. Guess how much money or how many people's money Mike had to return? It was 1. 1. Now, why didn't he have to return anybody else's money? Turn to your neighbor, look him right in the eye, and say, you didn't follow the plan. Okay. Okay, so let's write down some of the benefits of prospecting and hitting your numbers. Can I just ask some of you up here in the front row, like Melinda, what did you come up with income per contact? $230. Matab, how about you? George? Anybody else? 225, 120? How much? 400, Sandy? You make $400 a contact? And how many were you short last year? Come on. What's a lot? How much? You think you lost $600,000 by being short on your contacts? Somebody give her a hug. Okay? That's rough. Thanks, Ron. But now, should you learn what to say? Should you learn how to do this? Let us teach you how to do this. Follow this system and apply this prospecting. And here's some of the benefits. I wrote, having control over your income. When you prospect, you have control over your income. I'm just, 25 contacts is a minimum, Carlos, in any standard, you know. Like, for instance, at the Mike Ferry organization, when I was a salesman there, minimum was 25 a day. We had to do 25. And some people, that's the level they were at. But the guys making money, we were talking to 35 or 40 a day and figuring out how to do it. You know, how to get that many people on the phone to make that many sales. You know, but 25 is just minimum standard, okay? So you have control over your income when you've adopted prospecting in. You have control over your production and where it comes from. Where it comes from. Now, did anyone on the business plan, did you write down your sources for last year? You wrote down where your business came from? Have you ever considered setting a goal for sources? Like, you know, you're doing an evaluation, okay, I got 6 expired, 6 FSBOs, 10 center of influence, you know, and all your numbers are coming in. But how about we set goals in those areas that you want to convert 8 expireds and 8 FSBOs, and then you start checking them off as you go. And when you come into work, you look on the board and it's like, I wrote down that I wanted to do 2 probates this year, but I'm not calling probate. How is it supposed to happen? Put it in front of you. Maybe set goals for the sources that you want to go after. Is that a good idea? Oh. Thank you. Thank you. I wrote down that one of the benefits is freedom. I love this one. Freedom from third-party sources. I have freedom from third-party sources when I know how to prospect. I don't need Zillow. Zillow Schmillow. I don't need it because I know how to do this thing over here. I'm not, like, I had a client in Florida and down in Miami, and she was 100% reliant on Zillow. And then they cranked up the price. And then they changed her whole program, and she was devastated. She'd stopped making calls. She was just working these leads coming in from this thing, expending enormous amounts of money. And I'm sure there's better experiences that you've had with it. But I just like that I don't, now you might want to do something like Zillow or, you know, those things, but I don't need them. I'm not relying on them. I know exactly what to do. Why would I need them to do it for me? Why do I need anyone to do it? I know how to do it, and it's free when I do. I'm hitting a couple of you. I don't know about the rest of them. I wrote down, I love that with prospecting, I can give myself a raise whenever I choose. I can give myself a raise anytime I want. Watch, what if I decide that instead of talking to 25, I'm going to give myself a raise this year of like $100,000. I'm going to talk to 31 people a day this year. I'm going to add 6 to my daily contacts. That'll be 1,500 for the year. I have 100-to-1 conversion, so that's 15 extra listings, 12 sell. My average commission is 10 grand. I just gave myself a raise by just deciding to talk to 6 more people. Now, I have a younger brother, and he's a real smart guy. He's an engineer for the airlines and aerospace, and he's really smart, and he has all these degrees, you know, but when he wants to get a raise, oh my gosh, he has to like go ask the supervisors, and they'll give him $1.50 more an hour, you know, or he has to, you know, have something else, and they give him a little bit of money. It's crazy. Okay, you can give yourself a raise anytime. Isn't that amazing? I mean, what other job offers you that? And then I wrote down the other benefit, and the real reason that all of us are here doing it is it just brings us consistent leads and appointments with sellers. Am I right? Consistent leads and appointments with sellers. I mean, and good Lord, all you guys got to do is get your butt out there 2 times a week, and you'll present 100 times a year, have the potential to list 70, 80 homes a year. Your whole life will change. Or some of you already doing this. What if you could add that? What if you could add it? All right, so I have a little homework for you. Okay, a little homework. First of all, the first sign of somebody giving up on their goals is they stop talking about the goals. That's the first sign of they've given up or they're out of sight now. They stop talking about it. So I would ask you to keep especially your prospecting goals or your standards, let's say. In fact, let's stop calling these prospecting goals. These aren't goals. This is a standard. I wrote a map. It says 6,000 people. That's what I'm going to do. I don't write a map that says 6,000 calls and I make 4,000. Okay? So it's not a goal. Say it. It's not a goal. Say it's my new standard. It should be minimum standard. Okay? So keep those in front of you at all times. What is your number a day? What is your daily contact number? Say it out loud on the count of 3. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Say it again. Your contact number daily. Why don't you go get that tattooed on your arm right here? Right? Put that there. You own it. You mean it. That's your number. It's nothing less. I mean, I don't know about you. I've lost money before. You ever lost money like literally out of your pocket? You're like, I had $300 in here. Oh, I must have dropped it when I got my keys. It's like, oh, right? But to understand how much you're worth and that what you lose when you walk away, that was my main objective here. Write down number 2 homework. How about this idea? This was a great idea I got from a coach years ago, one of my coaches. They asked me to put my contact money. So for instance, my number at the time was 103. So I made $103 per contact. So I got a $100 bill and 3 singles and a picture frame from Target, and I put those in the picture frame and stuck it above my computer screen on the wall. Okay? Now, imagine this. You guys been to Vegas? You go to the yeah! You've been in Vegas. You go to the cashier window. You want some change for 100. She takes it, and then the machine puts out a bunch of 5s. Have you seen that machine? The cash machine? Don't you love it? What if we had one of those on your desk? What if one was on your desk? And every time someone answered the phone, let's try that again. Hello. Hi, I'm Ron. Click. Oh. Every time they answer the phone, 103, 103, 103. Would that change your prospecting perspective? I wouldn't get you off the phone. I'd be like, dude, it's 10 o'clock at night. I got to shut the machine down. You're like, one more. One more. Right? That's the game, people. You want to change your perspective? You want to make this whole thing different? It doesn't matter what they say. F you. Take me off your list. Click, click, click. That's the game. You got to think about these contacts. Don't hide from it. Be aware of it. Own it. Don't walk away from those things, okay? Who likes the idea of posting that up above you, maybe on a cork board or on the wall in a frame where no one will steal it, that kind of thing? Okay. We're selling them at the MFO store. Yes, or out here. The MFO store. We have that machine for sale at the MFO store. All right, and then I wrote down for you to change your daily contact goal into a standard. I want you to change that into a standard. Remember that it was the Production Retreat 2026 where you stop saying my goal is 25 and 25 is my standard, 25 is what I do. Who's ready to own it? Good. That'll change your perspective. And then also I've noticed in this audience there's confusion about, especially with the newer people to our program, where to spend their time. So I'd highly recommend all of you, just to start the year off, read Mike's report. It's called Every Possible Way to Find a Listing. Have you heard of that title? Hear me what I said? Every possible way to find a listing. Who wants listings? Okay, good. Read the report. There are 60 plus ways to do it. You know, we as coaching, as a company, we help you focus on like the top, I don't know, 5, 6, or 7 areas, the first 6 or 7 areas where you get the best results. But read the report. It'll be eye-opening for you. All right? Okay, good. Now,
Yes, I will get this to you. Hopefully, okay. Zoom world, welcome back. How was the reception on that one? Did you guys hear it okay?
Yes,
Yeah,
we
most
did.
of
Yeah.
it.
Perfect. Okay, good. So once I send you guys this recording for this week, you guys will have it. Okay, and that's what your work is to listen to it again, right? So what was the message? What's the message that you guys got out of it? You like the
Get
cash
to
machine,
your contacts.
right? Get to your contacts, right? Because that's all it is. See, to me, that's the only thing that's important. You know, if that's the only thing I can count on, right? If I talk to enough people every day, then I can really pay attention to that. Like, okay, like he said, if I talk to one person, right, that pays me $100, right? In this class, we teach you that every call you make, every conversation is $100, right? It's a Think 25 group, right? Our goal is to get to 25 per day, right? Again, that number is going to change depending on how many deals you want to do. I've learned from Mike Ray says, figure out how many deals you want to do equals the number of new conversations you need to make every day. So if you only want to do one deal a year, then you only need to talk to one person a day. Right? 250 days, because that's how many days you work. It's 250 days, right? So I mean, you need to talk to 250 people to get one deal. Now you don't know which of those 250 is going to get you that one deal. It may be the first one. It may be the 249th. Does that make sense? Right? So in this class, our goal is to talk to 5,000 people in a year. We talk to 25 per day times 125. I mean, times 5 days a week. That's 125 per week times 40 weeks, not 50, 40. Okay. 40. So 25 times 5 times 40 is 5,000. All right. The average number that we use is $10,000 per tech. For some of you guys, it's higher or lower, but average is 10,000. So that's $500,000 per year. Do you want to earn $500,000 per year? Up to you.
Yes.
Most agents are only willing to pay enough to pay their bills. That's why most agents don't really make a lot of money. They only make what it takes to live, right? Remember, the first 8 hours, but the next 2 hours makes you extra money. The next 2 hours, the 10 to 12, is really what's going to make you rich, okay? Because we are going to need to put in 10 to 12 hours per day, 5 days a week, if you want to earn $500,000. Because I don't know what job you can get out there. If you guys lose your license tomorrow, what job you can get? You can get a job at In-N-Out, $25 an hour. That's about $30,000 per year, if you do the math. Okay, everyone should be able to get a job, right? I mean, if you're going to work at a burger joint, you should work at In-N-Out, but not McDonald's, because McDonald's will pay you $15 an hour, probably, right? Now, why would In-N-Out pay their employees $25 an hour? It's because it's a very fast pace. I don't know how many of you guys know people that work at In-N-Out. It's different than someone that works at McDonald's. It's different. The atmosphere is different, and the experience is different, right? Okay. But again, it's a concept. So I don't know what some of you guys what job you can get out there that pays you what you want, right? Because I know I can't get a job that pays me selling real estate. You know, some of you guys might be able to, but again, in real estate, as you said there, you can have unlimited income from zero to whatever you want, right? It's unlimited, right? It's up to you. The only question is, what are you willing to put in every day, right? And you're willing to work for that number, right? So hopefully you guys got something out of it, right? There's some great thoughts in there. hopefully you guys can watch it again and get it. So what did you guys get out of the video? For those who were listening intently, who wrote down notes, what did you guys get?
Be consistent.
Be consistent, right? Yeah.
I think most importantly, how much us bullshitting loses us money.
Yeah. Okay. How much BS is losing us money?
Sorry.
That's what we call money leaks, right? You not hitting your numbers every day is losing your money, right? So what is your number? What is your contact, right? I heard 15, 25, right? What is your number? What's your contact goal for the day? And can you do that 5 days a week? And where does that number come from? It comes from working it backwards. What's your income, right? Divide by how many deals does that make? And how many contacts does it take you to get those many deals, right? The in simple math we talk about in our classes, hey, it takes, whatever your number of deals equals your number of contacts. That's the easy number. Now, eventually we'll figure out is that, if you're making 25 contacts per day and you speak to 5,000 people a year, right? 1% is 50, right?
Mm-hmm.
Make sense? That's 50 deals, right? So even we said number of transaction equals the number of contacts. Eventually, your hit ratio is going to be better than 1%. So you're probably going to hit your 25 deals sooner than before you get to 5,000. For some of you, it might take more, or you're going to give up because you don't believe in the system, right? Meaning you don't have a lead follow-up system. Because we meet someone today, but they're not ready for 2 years. We can't count on them to sell with us in 2 years because something else may happen, right? We need to feed our family today, so we need to make our daily contacts. You mentioned consistency. We say the accumulation effect, right? Every day we get older. Every day our body gets better or worse, right? Right? Does your body? Because again, no one stays the same. You're either getting better or worse. Right? That's the thought you must have, right? Yeah. That's the mindset of a growth mindset, right? It's gonna be up to you guys. How many contacts do you really need to make every single day, and what you're willing to commit to? Because not everyone wants to earn $500,000 or 200 or even 100 sometimes. Whatever that number income goal is, right? It's really going to determine how much work you're going to put in every single day, right? Right? Because we get a $25,000 check, we're like, oh, good, yeah. It's like, but again, how did we get that check? It's not from yesterday; it's from a couple of months ago, right? The listing that you took was from 6 to 12 months ago. So today, it's for the future paychecks. It's not for tomorrow. Tomorrow, what did we do a couple months ago? If we didn't do anything a couple months ago, that's why we don't have a deal today.
Exactly.
Right? Okay, and that's what when you said this is a sales job. What's the number one job for a salesperson? Finding clients, right? So we talk about scripts also, right? We have to learn what to say, right? How what are we doing with that? Are our skills getting better every day? Right? But bottom line is, no matter what skills you have, if you're not talking to people, it doesn't matter, right? You can know everything about probate, but if you're not talking to anyone where people that are thinking about probates, it's not gonna matter, right? Okay. So, question: do you know where your pillars of businesses can come from? Did you guys do that study, right? Part of your business plan is where are you going to do it?
Yeah.
Right? Are you going to do social media? Are you going to do, expires? What is it? We have to analyze that, right? And that's with me and your manager, can help you, give you some guidance. You have to do the work first. So your 2026 business plan, right? That easy business plan, you need to complete that and submit it to us, right? You got to do your daily daily schedule. So you at least you have a framework for your schedule, right? When are you going to do your 3 hour prospecting minimum, right? Your weekly schedule. When do you plan to do open houses, right? And part of this, when we come to September, we're going to plan out 2027. When is your vacation plan for 2027? A lot of people don't plan out their vacations because they, well, I don't know if we're going to have the money or I don't know where to go. Well, that's part of the planning. How much do you need, to Europe for 6 weeks? Sakshi just came back from 5 weeks, from her, you know, international trip. How much did that cost? Well, guess what? That's a baseline now, right? You kind of know, right? So you should have a number because whenever I want something, I figure how many houses extra do I need to sell? Then I go after it. Now, how do I know what I want? I go figure out what it is. When I'm in this mode of wanting cars, I go to the car dealership once a week, test drive a car, right? A couple of the agents, challenged me on that. I said, "Hey, you want to buy a car? What kind of car? What color? Let's go test drive." Next thing you know, they already bought it. I've sold 2 Mercedes and a Beamer because of that for my class. I said, "John, what kind of car you want? What color? What options?" You need to really think about that. If he doesn't even know the color, then it's not really it's a wish, right? It's like you got to salivate on your goals. Where are you going to stay in Europe? Which countries, right? Right? Do you know how much is this per day, per month? What are you going to do with food? You have to be that detailed, right? Okay, with regards to your goals, because goals will give us energy. Goals will wake us up, right? Awake, excited, full of energy, right? When someone hangs up on us, that's the only one. Thanks for $100, right? Someone shuts the door. Thanks for the $100. Remember, that's our game that we play, right? Thanks for $100. Every day, I earn $2,500 per day because I talk to 25 people. So whatever that per dollar is, in this class we use that number, right? There's different numbers that they use, right, on the training because they have different commissions or their hit ratio is better. But in this case, class, that's the baseline we use, right? It's the Think 25 group, right? Like I said, 25 may be too much money for you guys. I don't know, right? Because let's say your average check is 20,000. 25 times 20 is 1 million already. Is that right? 25,000 times 20. 25,000 times 20.
That will be
500,000.
Okay, 500,000. Yeah. For some of you guys, like, wow, I don't know what to do with $500,000. Remember, a third of that probably for taxes. Maybe some, so you have to do the math backwards too, right? But again, that's to be determined, right? But initially, how much income do we really want? Right? Right? What's that number? Right? 10,000 per commission is what I use because it's easy math. When we do your own business plan, we have to work out what is your average sales price, right? To me, if my commission is 15 or 20,000, that's just bonus. But the number is the set 10,000. So because there'll be some times where the commission is not 10,000, maybe. Right? But generally speaking, most of our commissions are over 10,000, right? But it's an easy number to work backwards, right? So please do that easy business plan and figure out what is your daily number, because that's the only thing that's easy to keep track of, right? Is how many daily contacts do I need to make every single day? And then can you do it 5 days a week for 40 weeks, right? So it's 5 times 40. How many days is that? 4 days. You're only prospecting 200 days out of the year. There's 365 days. So you're only working 60%, really. Right? Can you do that?
Yes. Yes.
percentage
Right?
of clients
Yes.
work with when we were doing the figures. You know how he said if you do whatever the math was at 70 listings,
Mhm.
let's say you close 60
Yeah.
because they expire, blah, 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 whatever, right?
Mhm.
If we factor in people that aren't the same personality type, right?
Mhm.
Or personality type to work with, if you had to put a number on that, what percentage of leads do you think might fall under that category where you're like, no, probably not the best agent for you?
Well, okay. So let's work the numbers that they had in the class, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So his number was 25 conversations per day times 5 days,
125.
125 times 50
500 a month.
weeks, right? Not 500 a month.
Oh,
It's
6,000.
it's 6,000 per year, right? When then you can say it's 5,000, from there, right? But okay, so if you talk to 6,000 people, right? My number is 5,000, right, in this class, right? So for them, so that's $600,000 in income, right? 60, right? Okay. So okay, so now his numbers, right? So his per check is 10,000, right? So as a My Fair agent, right, you'll probably go on 100 listing appointment out of those 6,000. Okay. That's an arbitrary number, but that's the number he's using. Okay. So 6,000 equals 100 appointments, right? Now, the appointments, is it qualified? Are they serious, right? This is, so this is part of your pre-qualifying, right? So part of our skills is pre-qualifying. So when I come over, do you plan on listing the home with me, right? Or is this so you want me to come over and give you a value because you're thinking of maybe selling in 5 years from now? It's not a one of those appointments, right? But to where, in the next 30, 60, 90 days, a sign will go up where they're interviewing agents, or we just have to see how qualified they are, their motivation, urgency, and dollars, right? So my fair agent, they say you're probably going to go on 100 appointments. That's two per day per week, right? Okay. 100 appointments. You'll probably 70% will be what we call gettable, where you can get it. So 70 listings, right? 10 of them may not sell, right? Expired, you overpriced, or they change their mind. So 60 will sell per year. And then if you do the numbers, right? That's where it's an arbitrary number that they're using here, right? With you and your manager, we'll create that number. That's why we have the numbers analyzer, right? That they have. We had that before, uh, but a lot of people were not turning in their numbers, so it didn't matter.
Sure.
So the thing is, that's why we came up with that 100-point day, right? You're consistent on your prospecting on that, and we will see day by day, week by week, where your numbers are, because you're keeping that sheet, okay? And you'll see, like this week, I had 200 per day. Next week, I get like 50. But where was that 50 or that 200 spent? Was it in training, exercise, or was it in prospecting? Right? That first column, the upper left. That's going to bring us. So review that 100-point day, right? And see that. And that's what, we're going to, have that discussion. All right, guys? So as much as possible, every day that you said, I'm working today, fill out that sheet so you can see where did you really spend your day, right? And no day should be zero. Because if you look at it, there's some personal stuff there, there's some educational training, and there's business related stuff. Okay?
Yeah.
Okay?
I think the question I was asking was answered in the 100.
Mm-hmm.
100 listings if you contact 6,000 people, and then
100 appointments.
Correct.
Actually, yeah, 100
listing appointments.
listing appointments, yeah.
Correct. Listing appointments a year.
Mm-hmm.
And then they were saying you get 70. So somewhere in that 30%.
Yeah, you lose it.
People that you either are not qualified for some reason, right? And or they're not the right personality
Yeah.
type. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Because you're not going to get majority of it, right? Okay. And this is all listing. We're not even talking about buyers yet. Right? Buyers are bonus, right? As a listing agent, you control the market. Remember, we can't control the real estate market. We can control our market by doing the work every single day, right? If I work every day, and again, you can choose to work 4 days, but you have to put in more hours or more effort on those 4 days, right? Remember, you're only working 40 weeks, right? Based on our math, right?
Yeah.
Because you're going to have days where you're not going to feel like working. So that's 200 days of work days, right? And most agents really work less than 100 days a year, meaning they're focused on getting business. Because sometimes we're so busy dealing with our deals that we forget what got us those deals. All right.
But doing that too, it messes us up because sometimes we get too attached to the outcome of wanting to close and then
Sure.
not have enough of a
Yeah.
pipeline either.
Yep.
So
Yep.
detaching from the outcome keeps
Yeah.
us.
And that's where Mike Ferry said, do your prospect earlier in the day.
Yeah.
Because if deals are going to fall apart. It can win an hour, right? For you had to have to deal with it, right? Okay, 2 words: urgent and important. Which one should you do?
Urgent. No, important.
Right? Should you do what's important?
Yeah.
Or what's urgent? Right? If you do what's important, it'll never become urgent. Right? Right? Like, now that's the concept. It's up to you if you believe that or not. Right? So what's important on your schedule?
Prospect.
Right? Prospecting, skill building, market research. You can do all of those before everyone else wakes up, besides the prospecting part, right?
Yeah.
Or at least you can set it up, right? So that's why by 7 a.m., your business should be ready to go. If you ever have a restaurant, right? If you have friends who have restaurants, right? What time do you think they start their day? Not at 10 or 11 when they open, right? It's way before that, right? So there's some setup we have to do. As a real estate agent, when do you guys do your setup? Right? When do you practice your scripts? When do you look at the MLS? When do you look at your deals? Like if I have deals going on, my emails and texts go on before my escrow officers or lenders even awake. Things to do for you today, right? It's like, hey, give me an update on these, right? And then I can get those messages, right? But at least I sent out what I need, right? Same thing. When do you do some of the work? When do you work on your flyers? When you're supposed to be prospecting, right? Off hours. So that's why every day, 5 solid hours in 3 things: skill building, market research, prospecting. 5 solid hours every single day in those things. And if you don't hit your 25 in those 5 hours, guess what? It's called overtime. Remember the first 8 hours?
Mhm.
That's the first 5. The extra hour or 2 is then you start to make more money. Right? Right? Remember his saying about, if you don't hit your numbers today, that's your money leaks. You're short 5, that means you lost $500 today because you only put in 2,000 in the bank. You guys get that concept yet? Right? The work we do today is like money in the bank for the future. Right?
Mhm.
And the only thing we can count is our conversations.
This is the 3 hours prospecting, and what else 2 hours?
At least 1 hour of market research, at least 1 hour of skill building activity, right? What's your number? If I ask you guys, Divya, what's your number? You gotta have a number, right? And that's where I challenge you guys. How hard is it really to talk to 25 people a day? If you have to. If you have to, right? If I said tomorrow we will give back your license to the DRE if you don't talk to 25. Can you do it?
Of course.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, right? We will figure out what that number is for you because question, is it physically possible to talk to 25 people?
Yes.
Are you sure?
Yes.
You don't have any physical, right? Okay. Is it mentally possible?
Yeah.
Mostly it's mental.
Right? Because that's the next question, right? Can you see yourself think, of course, some people, 25. I don't know if I can. Well, that's the mindset part. You need to improve your self-talk. Like, I can, I will, I talk to 25 people. Yeah. I prospect minimum of 3 hours per day. Right? The phone is my friend. Right? Yeah. I dialing for dollars, right? I mean, maybe that's what you have to do is work on your, right? You got the physical, right? Right. Now it's the mental, right? What's next? How about emotional, right? How can you be emotionally tied to that number? Meaning, when you say 25, does that get you excited? You have goals. The 25 equals your goals. That first class trip to Europe, right? Like, what's the most expensive hotel? Okay, so Sakshi just came from JW Marriott, right? They're pricey, right? How much was the hotels at JW average? Sakshi, remember?
Yeah, it was close to about $300 per night.
$300. That's not bad for JW. Okay, $300, right? Okay,
Yeah, because it
so
was
she had
in Bangkok. So yeah, the
yeah,
prices
that's
were,
okay,
yeah.
right? Yeah, some places is less expensive to travel. Now, JW, yeah, Bangkok, 300.
I'm choosing talent.
Yeah. So Bangkok is not bad for 300, right? Because hotels there are cheaper technically, right?
A lot cheaper, yeah.
But JW, right? There's some JW I've stayed in, it's like $900 a day, right? And a week. So that can become expensive. It's not the hotel stay, it's the food. Right? Sometimes, that's where, one of our bucket lists is maybe the Maldives, the Seychelles, or Bora Bora, or whatever, right? Is can you think of yourself spending that money? Now, for some of you, it's like, there's no way I would pay that much for a hotel room or for that meal or what have you. Well, that's where you need to, you know, think of adjust your mindset, right? I'm not saying be frivolous. That's not at all.
Right.
Because if it's like I'd rather spend 10,000 on to buy a rental property, or should I go on that $10,000 1 week vacation? It's kind of like, would you travel on business class or would you rather stay in a better hotel? Same money, which one would you rather be? Right? It's that. We're going to determine where we're going to spend our money. What you have to figure out, how will you motivate yourself to earn the money? Right? So what is it? Right? What's going to get you going? If it's rental properties, well, tell me, when are you going to buy your next rental? I don't want to be a landlord. Okay. What are you going to do with your money? Like, with that 500,000, what are you going to do?
There's
I
so
don't know.
much we can do.
Right? So figure out your 5 pillars of happiness exercise, right? Remember that one? The 5 pillars of happiness? It's in your attachments. Now, what are you going to do with the money? Because if you don't know what you're going to do with the money, money will not motivate you. And some people says, I don't like to be motivated by money. Okay? This is why I have issues with people. Money will only gives us options. I'm not saying be money hungry, but in a way it is, meaning I want that to earn the money, right? So I can get what I want. And again, it's up to you what you want to do with the money. You can do, see, I feel the money is better in my hands than someone else's. Right? I can do better good. Right? Right?
What happens when people are broke, right?
What do you mean?
No, I'm saying, like what you're saying, some people are like, I think I don't need more money. And it's
Yeah.
like, well, you need money to survive, you need money to do all these things.
Correct.
Like that puts them in a lack mindset.
Yes. Again, it's what is your emotional tie with regards to money, right? To your goals. How important are your goals? That rental property, how important is that to set up your college fund, your retirement, right? Like our retirement plan is our rentals, right? That's the way to build your retirement fund. Not Social Security will not be there anymore, right? Right. So you got to create your own retirement fund, right? So whatever that may be, and as a realtor, it should be real estate. You should be buying at least one house to keep long term every 5 years. That is the goal, right? Every 5 years, you need to be buying at least one rental. Not a $2 million rental. That's not a good investment, but at least where it cash flows, right? So somewhere between 500 to $1 million typically, right? And the Bay Area is not one of those areas right now, right? But it's gonna come, right? Hopefully sooner than later, right? I wish I would have bought more houses in the 2010s.
Yeah.
Right. But I didn't have money because I was spending my money, right? I mean, it's that, we bought it, but to where, hey, I wish I had more money back then, right? So we have to be ready for those opportunities because there are opportunities out there right now. It may not be fun or Pleasanton, but in the outskirts maybe where we can cash flow it. But we just have to make sure we understand, the investment side of it. Okay. So here's the thing. So what are those goals? So Can you do it? We talk about physical, mental,
Mm-hmm.
emotional. What's next? Is that it?
The spiritual.
Uh,
The execution.
spiritual, Blake says, right? Right? Some of you guys, yeah. But basically, it's those three, right?
Spiritual aid could be related to because
Yeah.
you want to help people out.
Yeah.
You care
Okay.
about some people and then you help them out.
Yeah. But the first three is the key, right? Is can you physically do the work? And then can you mentally get off that, hey, no one is ever home, like I can't, this is too hard, how's your mental and then your emotional tie to your success, right? Because all of that will really come in together to figure out for you, can you really do this business, right? Like when I started, like, okay, I can do that. I can talk to people, right? I want things. Okay, great. Okay, now what do I have to do? It's very simple, right? Because real estate is simple, right? It's not that hard, but it's simple, right? You find people to help, right? You help them, and you get paid.
Mm-hmm.
How hard is that?
Yeah, so
I don't need 12 years of medical school, law school. I just took a test. You guys already, we have the ability to earn as much as people that are still in school right now, right? And then by the time they're out, we'll probably make more if we create that system, right? And are we really that emotionally tied to earning money, a lot of money? No, honestly, do you really want to earn a lot of money?
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Some of you guys are, right? Right? At least you say it. That's part of it. Now you got to walk it, right? Because like I said, not everyone wants to become a millionaire, right? Right? Because do you really want to become the next millionaire agent? I mean, do you really want to earn $1 million? And again, here's why I tell people: you want to do 1 or 3 deals because that pays your bills in the first quarter. Take the rest of the year off, right? Unless, like I said, we've had agents where this is something for them to do to get out of the house. If they do a deal, great. If they don't, great. It's great either way because they don't need the financial, payoff for realtors or for as a real estate agent. They have enough money, right? Right, John? John works for fun, right? I Yeah.
Yeah.
That's like top the deal I was asking. Now, some of you guys, there's probably some people in this call, right? Where real estate is not because if I ask you, if you don't make a sale in the next 6 months, 12 months, what's going to happen?
There's a lot of shit happening.
Right? Some of you guys like, I mean, are you gonna be divorced? Are you gonna be out of a house, homeless? I mean,
No.
for most people, it's like, yeah, it's gonna be harder, but I won't be homeless. I won't be divorced. Whatever, right? It's no, less vacation, sure.
Yeah.
It's where the pain is really not that great. So what you have to do is make that shift in your mind. Like, yes, I will be divorced. Right? I mean, meaning I gotta hit my goals every day because I want this. See, there's a thinking out there. Are you moving towards person, meaning you set good goals and you go after it, or are you moving away from pain, meaning I have to create that pain? Like, Blaze, if you don't hit 25 today, tomorrow I'm cashing your $1,000 check. I'm like, count in front of you, right?
Okay.
And tomorrow it's another 1,000 if you don't hit your numbers. Is that the kind of pain I need to create for you? Right? What is it?
Yeah.
Like, you know, right? Were you ever afraid you were going to get fired? Why not?
It was going quite crazy for the boys.
Right? So it's that, right? So at his previous job is like, I'm safe because I'm important, right? So now, as a real estate agent, right? Can we get fired
Yeah.
We can.
From you.
from your client, right? If you have a client.
If you have that right.
But as a real estate agent, can you get fired?
No, not necessarily.
Right? No, all right. If Rishi, Kara, your manager said, okay, Blaze, I don't think it's the right place for you, right? Here's your license. You can get another hang it somewhere else. Now you got a new job. Now it may not, the pay basically is upon us, right? Okay. So that's what we have to think about. Like, hey, Remember, you're the employee and you're the boss. How good of a boss are you? How good of an employee are you? Meaning, as a boss, you set up a system. Here's the business plan. Here's what I have to do. Now, employee, go do the work. Will the employee do the work to make the employer look good? I don't know, right? Right, Christian?
Took a long time to get there.
Yeah.
You said, right, but you're afraid of getting fired.
Yeah.
It took a long time to be that person to not get fired. So we all have to, on real estate, we all have to make sure we follow this in order to not get fired.
Yeah. And again, it's how because what will get you fired, right? If you remember, you're the employee and you're the boss, right? So the boss says, okay, your plan says 25. Okay. Are you going to do it today? Whatever that number is. See, what is your number to where you say, okay, today was a good day in real estate? Yes.
So can we just make phone calls? Can we
Doesn't matter. It's your conversations. And we will figure out is what is your conversations doing, right? Because here's the goal. You speak to 25 people. You need to add 5 to 10 of them into your database every day. So, however you get 5 to 10 new people into your database, into your CRM, that's up to you. So if you're good on the phone, and some people are better, socially, right? Door knocking or going to parties or events. However, you add 5 to 10 new people to your database, that's the key. Okay, right? Can you add 5 to 10 new people into your database every day?
Yes.
Honestly, yeah. So, right? Okay.
This
And-
does not include cold calling.
Anything. You need to add 5 to 10 new people to your database every single day, 5 days a week.
say we add the 5 to 10 people in my database, so that means those people either they're my prospects for the future, or I know them. That's what you mean, or have some kind of connection with them.
Yeah. To where you can call them quarterly. You're sending to them something monthly, and then you add email monthly also or something, to where it's a future business. Because if you add 5 people per day, that's 25 in a week. These are people that says, is it okay if I kept in touch with you, Rishan, about the market? Right? And they say, I know, oh yeah, but I'm not selling in 3 years. I'm gonna die here. I said, that's okay. Totally fine. I just want to be a resource to you in real estate just in case you need any help. Or in case there's life change, okay? Is that all right? And by the way, just in case in the future you have you meet someone that needs a realtor, hopefully you can think of me. Is that okay? Great. So now I add Grecian. That's one. I need 5 to 10 of those per day, right? Most of them are not going to be like that. Some of them will say, "Oh yeah, call me in 5 years when I retire," or I'm looking for a fixer-upper, things like that, right? We never know when we're going to meet people, right? Okay. We need to add them into our database, culture that relationship, show value, right? And then from there, hopefully they'll give us an opportunity. Because if I find out Rishan sells in 5 years and he didn't even call me, I need to figure out what happened. I call Rishan or I look at my system. Is he getting something from me monthly? Am I calling him quarterly? Right? Remember, we just made that example with Brent and Anu earlier, right? Like their realtors, how often were they contacted? Most agents don't have a post sale, right? Because remember, after you sell this house, after they move in, they're now future clients. Someone is going to be prospecting them again. Because if Brent and Anu didn't get into real estate, they're going to meet other realtors. And it may not have been that realtor that sold them the house. I don't know. Right? Okay. So again, you have to be the better realtor about keeping in touch with all the people you meet. No one will out follow up you, right? I mean, you need to follow up more better than anyone else. So learn from other agents and see what they're doing good and see what they're doing that could be improved, right? Okay. So questions on what we talked about so far today with regards to prospecting. Are you able to prospect? So some of you guys may say, how can I find 5 to 10 new conversations per day? Right? Right? That's reality, right? Well, who are you calling? Right? Who, like, for instance, right? The people that you used to work with, how many Ford, right? Do you know all their Fords? Friends and family, occupation, recreation, and dreams. Do you know if they have friends and family around the area? Right? Do they have kids? How old are they? Right? We get to do that. You know, are they looking to leave Google too, or looking for to work somewhere else? How's Google? What's going on there? Maybe you need to contact some other people there, right? And this goes with anybody, right? So this is where I want you to tell me, okay, give Twinkle said, okay, I have these high school friends. What do I need? Well, how can I contact them? So I gave her some ideas. Now she needs to take that to the next level and do it more, right? But it's okay. I've done that. Reached out to my high school friends. They're now in my system, right? And as I shared with you guys, there's a couple of realtors now in that circle. So I have to do a better job of marketing, right? Or I feel that I'll outlast them. That's the key, right? The more people I have, the more deals I could potentially have. Can we agree? Right? Right? So our funnel has to be bigger. People we put into our system is bigger, so eventually the funnel will be bigger, right? So, how many people are you talking to every day? How many new people are you adding to your database? Because eventually your database is going to be most of your calls. Most of my calls right now is from my database, my CRM, right? I'm adding to it though, because some of them are going away or are not doing anything yet, right? Because I can't sit on them. I have to get new people to potentially do more deals sooner. That may lead to future deals, right?
That's right.
So, what's the question? Where's the where's the synapses not clicking or not firing? Like, do you have enough people? Do you know what to say? Right? Do you have a follow-up system? Right? Because that's the key. So the follow-up system, as I spoke to a couple of people this morning, that's the key. Without have a good lead follow-up system, you're gonna meet them today, and nothing's gonna happen because you don't have a follow-up system. The easy thing I've learned is put them on a mailing system, call them quarterly, call them more often now, quarterly. Find out their birthdays, important things, right? Like right now, I'm calling people about school, kids with school, right? Kids are going to start school again, right? So I'm calling clients or people say, yeah, so what the kids been up to this summer? That's the conversation we have. Personal, social, then business. Remember, the business is being marketed already because they're getting monthly mail or TV on right? That real estate. Not every day, but at least they're seeing real estate stuff at least once a month, right? They know I'm in real estate. To me, the newsletter was number one. I wouldn't be getting my referrals if I didn't have the newsletter. So you guys need to really jump on some sort of monthly mailing system.
I just
Not just
I sent out. I mean, I got to receive a
Yeah.
usually a copy of one for myself.
Okay, yeah.
I actually sent two to myself today, but yeah, so it finally
All right.
sent out.
Great. So now, if you do that consistently, right, I guarantee you the next call, right, they're going to bring up real estate in our conversation. You don't have to bring it up, right? Okay. And like I said, most of the people in the monthly mailer are not going to do business immediately,
Yeah.
right? Because you just sold them the house, or they're going to be there for 30 years. It's okay. But when I call them, I can leverage that for referrals or potential other business ventures. Do you guys know how syndications work, right? Syndications?
Automatically just goes.
Syndications, right? You're a syndicate, right? Like the mob, right? Basically, all that is pulling people's money. So how we syndicate is I've had some clients where I said, hey, I have this project. I was wondering if you want have you thought about, pulling our money together, right? So we buy like a commercial building, and that's what we did, right? Just like we with restaurants, right? You can pull people's money together for a venture. That's what they say with syndicate. Right? When you do syndications, is you're pulling. It's like a venture capitalist, right? You pull people's money together. Remember, as you're the agent, so you get paid by the commissions, right? That's clear. But it's a good idea where we all make money. We pull because again, the more money you have, right, the bigger project you have. The bigger the project, the more potential profit you'll have, right? That's what we want, right? Okay. So that's how I've had some clients come together. Some more agents have done that, where we put together money for like a flip, right? Someone brings in the deal. Hey, who wants to join in? Right? Okay. See, we're the idea people, right? Right? Have you thought about setting up your kids for college? Let's buy a rental property for them. That's your idea. Now you have to find the property. That's a good deal. What's a good deal? Well, you have to understand cash flow, appreciation, right? Okay.
That's right.
Right. So instead of a 30-year mortgage, right? They're going to get 30-year mortgage. Help them show them, or they can pay it off in 20 years, in 15 years. Not by having a 15-year mortgage, by having a 30-year mortgage, by making extra payments. You guys know it's called an amortization. There's things out there where you can just create that math. There's calculators, financial calculators. So if you put in this much more money every month, it off sooner. Okay. So these are the type of ideas we need to bring to our clients, right? But we need to have clients or people to talk to about that, right? Okay. Like I said, Twinkle, your thing about the BMR, right? Do you know how many views you've had? Did you put that on
Yes, let me
Facebook?
check.
Did
Instagram
you
and
also
Facebook.
did you also put that on YouTube?
Yes, I will be putting it on YouTube.
Yeah. Yeah. So when you put out videos, see what kind of traction you can get. And again,
I have roughly 1150 views.
okay, all right, great. So it's that now. If you're on social media, ask Twinkle, hey, can I, let me see that video, or can you see this thing, right? Okay. You can redo something similar to that. The messaging is the same, right? There's some work she did. Just ask her how she did it. Again, these are just ideas, right? Okay, right? Like I said, now the World Cup is done, right? There's some people I'm contacting this week. Did you enjoy the game, right? Because the past couple of weeks we've been talking about that, right? We're not talking real estate, right? I'm not waiting for the next quarter to call them. It's keeping that conversation going, right? Now that doesn't mean I'm not adding new people, but there's did you call strangers or people that's in your database first? Right? Okay. So if I'm not at that 20 or that number, that 25 calling my COIs, then I need to find new people to get to that 25. Right? So whatever that number is for you guys, right? Figure it out, right? Okay. So what else can we be talking about? So what are the challenges? Anu, anything in specific? Brent, Camelia? What else? So in wrapping up, make sure you have a prospecting plan, right? Meaning you know who to contact, you know what to say, and you know what to do with them. Okay. Number two, what is your skill building plan? What skills do you need to develop? What things you need to learn, right? And you have a plan for it. Okay. Your market research. How well do you know the stats? How well you know which areas are selling, right? What homes are doing, right? Again, you need to have those three things in place, right? Okay. Okay. I'll tease Blaze again. You get that contractor info yet?
Yes.
All right, good. All right. So you got you have the owner's info now? Not the contractors, but the owner. You were able to,
I have her information. I still did not get a chance to talk to her or her husband.
Okay. All right. Have you spoken to the brothers recently?
The brothers?
Yeah. Yeah. So you're communicating, right?
Back and forth.
See, Blake has some hot leads, right? Now, what is he doing with them? That's the key, right? So we have to have a conversation, right? Now, have you added them to your newsletter?
Yes, his brother, not the one who
Right.
lives in Andrew's brother,
Yeah.
Brian,
Right.
not Andrew yet.
Add both, right? Because remember, if you have two people, right, unless they're living in the same house, those are separate mailers you have to do because these are potential deals, right?
Mhm.
Okay. Now they said they're gonna talk to their agent, right?
Right.
So one of my conversations would be sometime this week is, hey, what's going on? Not to say, have you spoken to the agent?
Right.
Have they met with the agent?
They've already met.
It's on the market now.
It's on the market.
Okay.
So I told him that, or
Okay. Who's the market?
I gave him the hint that I can see from our entire team.
Mhm.
Know any clients looking to buy.
So question, why did they work with that agent again? Okay.
They want to try the agent out, essentially. They wanted to see what they could do with that same agent.
Okay. What do you feel that your previous agent can do, or rather than working with me, right? We need to know that, right? Every appointment we don't get, we need to figure out what happened. Not just that you decide to work with Anu, but what was it about Anu that that they liked, right? Is it the personal relationship? That could be it, right? Anu could be the agent that sold them the house. Totally fine. I'm okay with that. I said, yeah, it's okay if you're just more comfortable with her. That's totally fine. I just wanted to know to see how I can improve for my future clients, right? What price did they put it at?
So the price is $599.
Okay, well, we discussed with them, right?
Yep.
Okay.
It was we discussed 545 or 535.
Was it? Okay. So they went above.
They pretty much went what the homes their type of condo is selling for.
Right. Okay. So they're pushing market, right?
They're pushing the market.
So we can't see. To me, I can't feel too bad with that because they didn't listen to my price. I would feel bad if I recommended a price and they listed with another agent based on my price.
Yeah, based on
okay.
Exactly.
So in this case, they went higher in price. Maybe that's the reason. I don't know, right? But again, you follow up with them, right?
Yeah.
Okay, that looks pretty good. Okay, so they prepped it pretty well. Okay, so now this is what I would put what I call expired watch. Okay, where I would be paying attention to that property. Every 2 or 3 weeks, I would see if it went pending. I would try to sell it myself, of course, right? But in this case, their agent's not doing the open house. You may want to do it.
Oh yes.
Right. Okay. So again,
RPR.
So here's the thing.
It's on that's a breed.
Right? You can do other things around it. See, to me, success is the best revenge. If I was Blaze, I would be door knocking that neighborhood, and we will, and get another listing and sell it before their sells first.
That's where I got wait for you.
Right? That's success. Best, revenge. Okay, guys, like you didn't list with me. Oh well, guess what I just did, right? Does that make sense? Okay, to me, that motivates me. When I don't get something, I immediately door knock around it. I'm door knocking what your neighbor just did. They're going to be putting their home on the market, right? Soon. But
happened in one house did not sell for I think almost 6 months.
Mm-hmm.
And then opposite home,
Yeah.
same plan, everything.
Mm-hmm.
They just listed it on the right price and sold it in less than a month.
Yeah, pricing is very important, right? But again, it's just a strategy. All right. So let me stop my recording here.
What are we going